What's up? What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's good, bro?
Top of the morning, my brethren.
What's up?
Shout out to my Gmail sending me a nice little notification letting me know that the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke podcast is live right now. I'm notification gang as well. You know, shout out to that. Man, and shout out to everybody in the chat this morning. Man, we wanted to, get a little rise and shine. I see some people are referring to it as the wake and bake. I'm not sure what you mean by wake and bake. I'm not cooking anything this morning, but I did wake up and I did, feel nice and enlightened and uplifted and stuff like that. So it's all good to go.
What do you mean? We're cooking this content?
That's scraping the pot with it one time, man, without a doubt. Also, in this early morning, I mean, before we could even get it going all the way, man, shout out to The Rake. Welcome to the upper room. Always good to see a new person joining the family, joining this commitment, man. He said, I don't care how early it is, I'm out here. I like it, man. I like it. So let's see, man. First off, where's everybody at this morning, man? Are we getting ready for work? Are we chilling? Is it already summertime for some people? I know for us on a Wednesday, man, kids don't have school, so it's kind of smooth, baby. Kind of smooth.
Yeah, just a good Memorial weekend for me.
Yeah.
Now we're back at it, man. It's feeling good.
A long Memorial? Did you have a long holiday? Did you enjoy your long holiday, or was it just Memorial weekend? Because you can't say certain things, bro.
What do you mean?
I'm messing with you, man.
Wait.
That was like the whole thing this weekend, man. I guess.
Wait, what happened?
Kamala Harris has said, enjoy your long weekend. So then everybody was like, oh, no, it's not a long weekend. You're supposed to be thinking, you got to be remembering the servicemen that passed away. It's to memorial them, and that concept. And we're like, I get that, but why are y'all on vacation saying that if that's the case? But that's for another day. But people were really up in arms about this thing. It's crazy, man.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, I was like, dang, we can't even say long weekend or enjoy your weekend, holiday weekend. But it's either here nor there. But either way, man, I'm glad your weekend was good, baby.
Oh, it was great, man. Great.
Yeah. You said you went to the, did you go to the, not the cabin, where'd you go?
Yeah, I got a little camp,
you went somewhere, right?
Yeah, I went to a camp, friends, family, hung out, a lot of drinks, a lot of golf, some backwoods. Yeah, it was nice. It was just really nice just to get away.
Backwoods?
Backwoods, yeah. Smoking some cigars.
Oh, it was a cigar. Okay, I thought you did something else to it.
No. Just the ones you get in the gas station. It wasn't one of those type of weekends. Pretty simple. What did I have? Those honeyberries. Yeah, I got some of those.
Okay.
Yeah, just some drinking and golf, man. It was really nice to get away.
Can't go wrong with drinking and golf, man.
Nah.
In fact, man, we got golf coming up. I'm excited too, baby. Yes, indeed, man. Go get our hand. I don't want to.
How you feeling about your game?
Well, in my most humble opinion, I'm somewhere.
When's the last time you played? Because I've known you for the last 2 years. You haven't told me anything about golf.
This the thing, bro. For me, I'm kind of like a mix of Mickelson, McIlroy, old Tiger, like janky Tiger when he was doing, he was bad Tiger. Like, I got a little bit of that game in me, like that competitiveness, that edginess. I got some of that, yeah. And I got a little Bubba in me as well, man. So I'm kind of a diverse group of golfer. My swag is elite when I'm on the golf course. That's what you got to know. My walk-up confidence, that's Tiger-esque right there. Like when I walk up to the tee, or if I'm on the green and I'm, it's time to putt. Like when you see my walk up, it's like, oh yeah, he believes in himself. Like confidence through the roof. And that's all we need to know. Don't worry about the actual technique, fundamentals. Don't worry about the actual productivity associated with my play. Just know that I'm going to keep it fire. All right. That's all you need to know. But we ain't worried about what happens after that.
So this is your strategy.
Yeah.
You go in, intimidating the opponent
with
your walk up and everything.
Absolutely.
Showing that you got the confidence.
You remember Little Giants, right? Intimidation. I'm going to pop the Alka-Seltzer. Walking up. Happy Gilmore style too. Give me, I got the hockey stick. I'm walking with the hockey stick instead of the traditional golf club. And they're like, yo, this dude crazy. And after that, it don't matter.
I was gonna say, and so you have that. You're already throwing them off, but then do you hope they play down to the competition? Is that what you're saying? So it's like the combo of that.
Yeah. You got to play down to the competition, man.
So that's what it is. So you just catch them off guard. They're like, I'm going to beat Moats. They see you on the first hole, but then
the tortoise
you start
and
rallying.
the hare.
Yeah.
The tortoise and the hare. All right. The good golfers, they're the hare. They're out there. They're swinging away on the greens. They're at the driving range. They're killing it. They look awesome. They do. But they feel like, oh, man, well, we could catch him, man. We'll let him get a birdie here. We'll let him get a par here. Oh, we'll let him get a double birdie. Oh, he'll get an eagle on this one. And before they know it, I didn't got so much of a lead. It's too late for him, baby. So that's always my style of game, man. I'm a slow walkie, but just know I'm going to look the part. Yeah.
If you go so slow, maybe you could cut a few strokes off because some people wouldn't be able to see some of
That's all I'm saying, man.
those extra shots if you chunk it or something.
Just know I got the juice, all right? I got the juice. And let's see, man. I asked everybody where they were checking in at this morning, too, man. We're getting ready for school, work, what we had going on. Let's see. Shout out to DJ Lundy. DJ Lundy says he doesn't have school on Wednesday either, so he's tuned in. Big boy vibes. And then we got Stangman21 says, whoa, bro, it's 7 a.m. in Cali. The fact that you're up at 7 a.m. in Cali for the love of the show.
Got a lot of Steelers fans out in Cali.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like I said, man, we're playing around with this thing in terms of our timing because we got conflicts here, right? We can be transparent with the people because we love y'all. We're family here, all right? So the problem is this. We like the primetime atmosphere, but we feel like during the season, content they could be getting out there, it's going to be a little bit delayed. Because you wait until the end of the night to get that. Whereas when we're out here in the morning, think about this, man. When we done today, oh, man, when the content gets to chopped up, you know how we get in there with the hats and scraping the pot, then that's going to be out there for y'all to enjoy longer. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thought process with it. But if the people are up at 7 a.m., the people are up at 7 a.m.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you would get up for 7 a.m. mass. You would get up for, 7 a.m.
Yeah, so what would the time?
Ride?
The time frame would be like between
Absolutely.
6, 7 a.m. to like 9, 10.
At least with this one, you get to
depending on your time zone.
Absolutely, man. So you got options. And replay value.
I do. No, for sure. Well, you know how I feel. I definitely like the regular season vibe. Just to wake up.
Wake and bake.
We had the Steeler game on Sunday. It's like you just wake up, give your takes.
Just wake up and get the cooking,
have some bacon and eggs, and then come in and give your takes.
It's what we do. And shout out to Juicebox. Juicebox says he's in Colorado at work, and I know Juicebox said he couldn't actually wake and bake because that's been going on in the chat as well. This wake and bake discussion, but he's at work. He's being responsible at work. We got rise and
grind though here.
I like the rise and grind. I'm with the rise and grind, baby. Yes, indeed.
4 a.m. in Hawaii, and then we got someone watching from England too.
Oh, shout out for my peoples across the pond, man. What was it? Oh, T. Dawson. Shout out to T. Dawson. Top of the morning. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah, I like it. And then CMF Trucking says he owns his own business, so he's always working, but still got time for the guys. See, I like that, man. Anytime we're able to start out in the morning like this and get this type of response, you know what that tells us? It tells us that they really love us, D. It tells us that they're really committed to us, D. Because, let's be real. In the words of my man Jay-Z, you could have been watching anybody else in the world right now. You could be doing anything else in the world. But you're here with us, and we appreciate that, man. So, without further ado, oh, man, this is interesting. I've never had this situation right here.
Go ahead.
So I want to start our first topic, but I see color.
Sure.
How you know what I'm saying? Like, do I postpone the first topic for color? I feel like I should.
That's your call.
I feel like I will because it's 10 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Who knows wherever else everybody else is watching from. So if they are willing to put comments in this early, we will pause our topics for your topics. That's what we on right now. So Juan Ringel, shout out to you first off, man. We definitely appreciate the love and the support. But this question's for you, Deke. Deke and Dots.
It's not for me.
Deke and Dots, Deke Daddy, Big Deacon. All right. It says Deke. How do you feel about Big Ben's interview?
Oh, it does say Deke.
It does.
I saw the same thing because I got the pop-up chat up right now.
It's direct. It's direct to you, baby. So how do you feel about it, man? I was thinking about you when that joint came out too.
It was a masterpiece. It was artwork, honestly. It was everything we needed to hear. It was everything we wanted to hear. I don't know where we start because there's so many amazing quotes. I got Brooke Pryor's Twitter up right now, and she just has like a good timeline of like 10 or 11 things that came from the interview. One of the things that sticks out is when he was talking about, is this going to be like his last season or not? It was just so polished, perfect with his response. I treat every season like it's my last season. Any game like it's my last game. I'm just locked into this season. That's what it really needs to be. I know we're talking back and forth. A lot of people are talking back and forth of, oh, man, how long should Ben be playing and whatnot. I want the 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is. Some people have differing opinions on that. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to this season. He's got 1 year left on this contract. You come in, you ball out. Everything else will take care of itself. Whether he wants to keep playing, But if he does ball out, then I don't see why he wouldn't want to come back. He's healthy. The Steelers wouldn't want him back at some type of price, which he mentioned also in this interview too, that it was his idea to take the pay cut. He wanted to come back immediately after that AFC wildcard game, told the Steelers, I want to be back. If you want me back, let's make this work. So the interview was amazing. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I mean, he was talking highly of Najee Harris. The offense, he kind of made a funny joke too about, the offense is going to be so out there. No one's ever seen this offense before. We're going to be so unpredictable. So it was kind of a joke there, but then he also made the comment like, Canada's bringing some nice wrinkles. I'm excited to get to work with this thing. There's going to be some new things we learn, but it's for the betterment of the team. We're just going to kind of go forward with it. So yeah, I thought it was an awesome interview, man, because we haven't heard from Ben in a while.
Since the game. Yeah,
I guess so.
After the game,
we heard the statement from his agent and a little bit of the back and forth between Steelers organization, Colbert, and Ben's
last time
camp,
he spoke was after the game, man. Yeah, so that was crazy, man. But for me, it's off-season interview, so he did what he's supposed to do. He got the people going, man. Didn't say anything crazy. Like, obviously, we can comb through if we really wanted to pick through bits and pieces. Done that as well. Honestly, though, man, it's an off-season interview, bro. So, like, I like the mentality. I like the upbeatness because he definitely had, like, that joking, funny thing going on with him during the interview, which was cool, man. It's always good to see that side of him. But as a whole, man, yeah, it's OTAs. So, glad you're here. Glad he spoke. But, yeah, let's get to the real thing, man. Let's get to the real thing when the season gets here. But from everything I'm hearing from the people that have been down there in terms of, like, the reporters that are watching him, saying he looks good, saying Najee looks really good. So hopefully we keep that thing rolling, baby.
Yeah, says his arm's feeling good too.
Now, I did want to ask you something about that. So he talked about his arm feeling better, and he said something along the lines of now that is going to feel better now that he's further removed from the surgery or whatever. But I thought all of last year, everyone, including him, you, everyone would say this is the best his arm has ever felt, as strong as ever felt. So is it not that good anymore?
No, I think
now it's back to normal, Ben?
No.
That's what I was confused on, man. I figured you're the expert on that, though.
Sure. Yeah, I think his arm felt good. I think it was maybe that touch element that was missing. You know, he didn't have the off season to come back from that surgery and really work on the arm like he would in a normal off season. At least even with the communication with the players and whatnot. But I saw many times throughout the season, he was overthrowing receivers.
Right. That's what I thought. I didn't think it was like
So that's what I mean. I think the arm's still there. It was just maybe just the touch, the repetition he didn't have. You know, he had that full off season, or not full off season, but the full season in 2019 where he had that reconstructive surgery. Yeah. And he comes back. The off season's not the same. So he's, man, what is that? Would you consider that 2 years removed? A year and a half? I don't know what it is, but it's a while.
It was one season. Then he came back the next year.
It's a while, but then to come back, and because I still saw the arm strength in the Colts game and the Browns game. So those were like the last 2 games of the season that he played. He threw for over 500 yards. Granted, made some mistakes, didn't play his best, but that's my point. I still think he's got the arm strength. He's got all that, and I think being even more removed from that surgery and now being in this offseason where it's going to be pretty much back to normal, he's only going to be better. So that's what I'm thinking with it. Yeah.
Because that was the only part that I was just like, I thought that, but all right, if it's not that, then we're good. So you cleared that up for me, man. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Because last year that was the big thing. Even during training camp last year, those were the reports. Man, his arm has never looked this strong before. It's the best it's ever looked. We've never seen this much zip on it, all this other things. And then to hear him a year later saying, well, I feel like my arm is good now. I feel like, a year removed, like I'm back. I'm like, well, what was all that last year from everybody? What were y'all fabricating? Was y'all blowing smoke on me, man? Like, don't deceive me.
No,
I don't want to be deceived.
I think it was good. I think it was feeling good. If anything, this is the thing that may have been swept under the rug is that the potential like knee surgery.
That's what I'm.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
so
that's what
I don't know.
Keep checking out, man, because we felt was that Dallas.
Yeah,
Dallas is when the knees started to pop up. Yeah. So that's the one I want to see more of. Like,
I still felt the arm strength
arm wise is good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to look. I'm just scrolling through this just to remind myself what else he played. Juju and Pig.
Yeah.
Juju came over. They played some hoops. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I have much else. He said he's Steeler through and through. He's not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah, he said that's the only place he wanted to go. I did laugh at. He said he decided it was his idea for the pay cut.
Yeah. That's great. What, dude? Hey,
That was his idea, huh?
He's about the team.
That was his idea, huh?
Listen, he said it, so why not? Why not take him for his word?
All right.
Either way, he took the pay cut. So, you know what I mean?
He did.
Either way.
Did. No, shout him out for that, man. It was just funny, though. It was like, bro, I thought Mr. Rooney and Kevin Cope were the big ones pushing that part of it. But all right, cool. Hey, man, it's all love.
Yeah, it all worked out. I think it was a nice back and forth between the two. I think they understood what needed to happen.
Yeah.
And whether whoever's idea it was, Ben saying it was his.
He just took the credit.
He's an innovator, dude. He's an innovator. That's why
we got this group project, but I did this joint. That was all me.
Yeah. What
else you got? Any other comments?
Yeah, I'm just trying to scroll through. We have the Haskins comment. I don't know if we want to touch on that now or later.
Yeah, we'll get on that a little later.
Let's see.
Because that was interesting as well, because people made a big deal about him speaking about Dwayne versus we really haven't heard him speak about other quarterbacks like that before.
That is true.
Yeah, he has never said anything like that about Mason. He's never spoke on Dobbs like that either. Paxton Lynch, Landry, Bruce. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Vic.
Yeah, Mason would have been the one probably most comparable to Haskins in terms of situation coming in. And yeah, we didn't really hear that about Mason.
Yeah.
Now, the last one, I guess this is the last thing I probably want to touch on. Being motivated by doubters. You let it motivate you, but you don't let it drive you crazy. At the end of the day, you're trying to win a football game, a championship. He had some other type of comment, like a lot of people are doubting us now. They're overlooking us.
He said he likes it, right?
He was like, this is where we like to be. So, yeah, the interview was just phenomenal.
I did have one other part where I was a little sad, though, because he had a chance for big Deke energy, and I do feel like he wants small Deke energy here. So I forgot which one of the media guys asked him this, but they were like, hey, isn't one of the goals like to come back and win multiple Super Bowls? And he said something like, we're just trying to get one right now, or something like we're focusing on just one at a time, or one versus the big Deke energy would be like, yes, I'm back for more. I'm trying to get more, because every time they would ask him questions about his future, if this is it or if it's going to be more, he was very vague from those answers. You saw what he said. Oh man, I'm going to treat every year like it's my last year. I treat every year like this. I prepare the same every time, but really wasn't committing to whether or not he does think he would come back or not. But it's smart on his part.
Yeah,
that's
smart.
The media part. But as a whole, that was the part where I was like, man, big Deke energy supposed to be like, man, I'm here for the next 5 years. I'm winning 4 rings and I'm getting 3 MVPs off of my man Deke. Like, that's what I was waiting for. So when he never gave that, I was a little disappointed. I left a little deflated. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think that was in his mind. I think you're right. Okay. He was just being savvy.
So I'm like, how could he not think about my man Eric DeClaven? Like, it's only one Deke. And shout out to the jersey, by the way. This is fire.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Had to break it out.
Yes, indeed. But either way, man. It's like, bro, shout my man Deke out 7. Come on, bro. This is crazy. He's just gonna forget about you like that, man.
Hey, listen, the interview was good though, man. It was. I was really pumped about it. Whenever I saw these quotes popping up all over my social media, I was like, oh damn, this is great. I got to check this thing out. And the quotes lived up to the hype. The interview was solid. I thought he answered everything pretty good. I
like it. So we'll go check and see what the people are saying in response to that, man. You know what I mean?
I'm sure some people.
But first off, shout out to B-Lo Shiesty, man. We appreciate that love. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Let's see.
Dude, we're actually
it's a ton of wake and bakes right now, bro.
Exactly.
It's a ton of wake and bakes. Shout out to Jennifer over in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Oh, excuse me. I'm just waking up over here, man. Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Jeez. All right. Shout out to you. I wonder how far is that from Green Bay?
I have no clue.
I mean, when we pull up in Green Bay, you might have to pull up on us, man. Straight up.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Tailgate City. You know how we do. Got A. Farrell from DC teleworking from bed. Shout out. See? All right. Bad Itches in Wiley, Texas. I haven't got to the Ben stuff yet. It's a lot of love in here. There's a lot of comments in here, bro.
I know. Just people
here we
complimenting
go.
us.
All right, so it looks like Kenneth. Kenneth says Big Ben loves being the underdog. I could definitely agree with that right there. All right. Color over first topic. Get it, baby. Hey, that color. The color pop up in the chat. Yeah,
100%.
Color takes priority. We come with our topics on our own time. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about ours on our own time. Y'all pay. Hey, man. Hey. It's a different level of respect, different level of appreciation. Just throwing it out there. I'm not going to lie to you. All right. Oh, man. And then, Jack's calling out somebody in the chat as well. Jim Andrews says he's a fake fan over here saying Ben is done. You know the rules, man. If you don't agree with him, just say he's a fake fan or a casual. That's what we do here.
Oh, yeah.
Casual.
That's great. Jack's looking out.
All right, and then
too many fake fans out here.
Too many fake fans and fake news. And then we got Jose Lito Colon. He's asking about Leighton Vander Esch. We'll definitely discuss that a little bit later as well. Man, it's a lot in here. All right. Let's see. Do we?
Yeah, we got some color. Do we want to touch on that? We had the Jack Henderson talking about the fake fan.
Before we got there, I was trying to see the rest of these ones on 7.
I think people are just having good conversation.
That's what it's looking like, man. Yeah, I'm over here looking like
there's no like hot takes or anything.
Yeah, because was this Coles says that it was more that Ben smelt the cap than him saying he actually wanted to take a pay cut. B-Lo, Shiesty, great idea, Ben. I feel like a lot of people are laughing at that part where he's like, yeah, it was my idea to take the pay cut. I think we all kind of know how that went. Oh, so this is why Jack made the comment what he made. I just found it. So Jim says he's not a Ben hater at all. He just doesn't feel that Ben is elite anymore.
I disagree.
You want to share with the class?
I just said I disagree. That's all I need to say.
Okay,
Just disagree. Okay. Yeah, I think Ben's gonna have a really good season.
Okay, I was just wondering.
I don't know if I want to do Jack's energy because Jim's also a listener too. I don't want to be going all out and saying fake fan.
He is.
But I will say this.
Do you feel some type of way?
I do feel some type of way for the Ben haters. Trust me. But I'll be like Ben. I'll be like Ben with the interview. Yeah. I'll be polished up here. I'll just say that.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that you'll be polished up here then, man. Let's see. What else they say? Oh, Badich says Deke is going to freak out when they bench Ben for Haskins. Lord. We are there with this.
This was the hot take we couldn't find.
I was looking for this. Let's go.
No.
Hey, now, Biking Baller 3 agrees. He says they ain't benching Ben. LMFAO.
No, that's a hot take. That's a really hot take.
7 did say he did have some very, very nice comments about Haskins that we will get to in a little bit. But he spoke very, very highly of him. He did.
I get people are high on Haskins in the signing, which we both agree it's a really good signing.
Low risk, high reward.
That's absurd. That is absurd right now. That is just crazy.
This is this fifth OTA practice. Their win is Wednesday, so yeah, it's their 5th OTA practice, and we're already saying he's gonna take the spot. Like,
it's just ridiculous.
Look at
Haskins. Like, it's just absurd.
A little fast, man.
We got a 2-time champion, Hall of Fame. Like,
you
can't be.
No. That cannot be the answer for that part for Haskins in 2021. We don't care about what Ben did in the previous year. We talk about 2021. Yeah, you bringing up we 2 Super Bowl chips. We talk about 2021. Come on, baby.
No, well, I'm just bringing that up. He's got that pedigree, man. He's got that.
Haskins got pedigree too. I don't care about pedigree. What are you doing in 2021? That's all I'm saying, man. Baker Mayfield got pedigree too. Jared Goff do too. I don't care about pedigree. Give me production. Now, my man 7 got production. That's what Haskins doesn't have right now.
I agree.
In terms of,
I was going to say, 2020 he had the production.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have the production now, but then I don't know. You combine all those things still. Like,
man, I don't
dude,
care.
there is.
Bro, how does anything that's happened last year or further beyond help us going forward? That's all I'm saying. It doesn't.
I would just rather take Ben over a bunch of these dudes in the league. I think you base that off trust too. I mean, what you did in the past. I mean, part of it's what you're going to do in the future too.
Not necessarily.
If people are choking, choking in the fourth quarter, they're not living up to their potential. It's not like I'm just going to expect them to do that. They could always prove me wrong. That type of stuff happens.
But there's a double-edged sword with that. Just remember.
What do you mean?
You talk about choking in the fourth quarter. I just said it's a double-edged sword with that. That's all I'm saying.
Choking in fourth? I don't know.
No. All I said, it don't have to just be the fourth. You focus on the fourth. If you choke in the first half and we don't get a chance to get to the fourth, it really doesn't matter. That's all I'm saying. It's a double-edged sword. Not saying anything in particular, but just know when you put those type of statements out there, it's easy to have it comb through a little bit, man. That's all.
Wait, Ben versus Haskins, though?
I'm just saying in general. I'm just throwing out. I'm not going to make the case because I don't need to make the case.
Yeah.
But for that particular argument that you're making, somebody could definitely make a case. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to do it today.
Wait, of Ben versus Haskins?
All right. I'm talking in 2021. We're talking 2021 right now.
Way.
Okay.
As of where we're standing right now, like,
bro, I don't think you realize how many people genuinely believe that Ben is washed. Like, genuinely believe that. I'm not with that. You're not with that. Obviously, you're on the other spectrum, but there is a good amount of people that legitimately feel like Ben should not be on this team right now, bro. So serious.
Sure, but this is why I'm saying, all right, let's see it play out.
No,
let's see it play
I'm
out.
with you on that part, but that's what I'm saying. In their argument is because I've heard plenty of people make the argument that you're making. Man, look at the longevity. Look at what he did last year. The 11-0 start, the 500 yards passing in the Browns game. And then you hear their rebuttals to that, and then they make the case for why they feel like Haskins could make that move. It's like, yeah, if you really want to entertain it, you could. I'm not going there, though. But you could.
Dude,
that's what I'm saying, bro.
Here's my thing. I've been hearing this Ben Wash shit for at least the last 5 or 10 years, though. That's the thing. I've been hearing it so often that... Yeah. It's just in one.
Talk about Moats believe it. I don't want to believe it. I'm not believing these ones, bro. Stop.
It's one in one ear and out the other. That's kind of what it is for me.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there is a good amount of people that feel that type of way about him, bro. It's crazy, but they do. They do.
That's the thing. We're not going to be able to check the tapes on them and pull it back up middle of the season because I'm not like that. It's just, hey, we're all Steeler family. It's all good. You got some wrong takes sometimes. Mine are always flawless.
I like how I didn't even want us to come here and have this Ben talk today. You notice when we talked about it yesterday, it was like, yo, what's the topics? We didn't even have Ben up here.
Sure.
It showed up.
Hey, people want to know, though. He dropped that nice interview.
Oh, my gosh. All right. And now, oh, man, as we get back on schedule here. And Coality Colas. These names, bro. These names. Very creative. I like them, but kind of tough. Shout out for the love, though, man. We appreciate the contribution, man. Yes, indeed. And then, let's see. Oh, and this is from Tristan Middleton right here. We got to read this one.
Sure.
And shout out to you, Tristan. Definitely appreciate the support. Says, I just wanted to say I love y'all. And I'm getting super sneaky 2008 Super Bowl vibes. Hardest schedule. I think the team will be motivated. Go Steelers. Does bring up a good point there, man.
Sure. Yeah, it's got a good vibe. It's got a good vibe for sure.
I mean, it's going to go as 7 Najee and this defense goes. I think
defense isn't as good as 08. But
right. And that's the thing. Defense isn't as good. And they're obviously going to be taking a step down from where they were last year, potentially from a talent standpoint. Now, we're not saying that these younger guys or newer guys can't come in and hopefully exceed all of our expectations. But to just think that it's going to be on 08's level. 08 was like...
We got the juice on offense, though. So it might be a nice counterbalance.
Dude, when you look at our skill positions, as long as 7 can be 7, just in the ballpark of 7, he should go nuts out here, bro. Like, we are stacked. I love this. This is fun, man.
You hearing any reports on this O-line? Because that's going to play
into it a little bit. The same way Ben has been the hot topic this offseason in terms of do people think he can still get it done or if he's washed. Similar with Adrian Clem. So some people love Adrian Clem because they hear the Dotson thing and they're like, well, Dotson was great. That's because of Clem, this and that. Then you have another large faction that's like, well, if Clem was so good and he was such a O-line savant, why were they still keeping Sean Surratt in place and making him be the O-line coach when you got this guy right there in the same room with him? Or why didn't they at least communicate with him that, hey, you're the head O-line coach by title, but we're listening to Clem? Like, that was their whole thing. So we see people half and half with him. But as a whole, I need to see it. That's my thing. I don't want to take their words on it because with him, because of some of the other stuff surrounding him, people have decisions and mindsets already made up about Adrian. For me, I need to get down there and actually see it in person. And then from there, I'll be able to give you a better gauge on that.
From my standpoint, it's only been positive reports, and all I'm seeing
I
is
like
upside.
How you said my standpoint.
To the other side of it, though, literally, we haven't seen Banner. Yeah. We haven't seen Dan Moore. We haven't seen Chooks at left tackle. So
how's that positive?
We've talked. Like, no. I'm talking about Adrian Clem stepping in and coaching up the offensive line. I see that as only a positive.
Got you.
But in terms of the actual personnel, there's some uncertainties. Let's be straight up. But
because then I saw the other thing they said, and if he was such a guru of getting Dotson, prepared, why didn't the coaching staff make the decision to just put Dotson out there? And then obviously we talked about that conversation a little bit as well.
There's a lot of inner workings going on.
But it was just kind of like, well, why wouldn't they have done that if he was getting this guy to be the best O-lineman that we had? Because we were ranking our top 5 O-linemen for the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of the current group, who we think our top 5 was. And obviously some people had Dotson ahead of DeCastro. And that stirred up that conversation even more. But, man, as a whole, bro, it's going to be fun, man. I'm excited for the O-line, though. And the fact that we're talking about O-lineman, man. That's what makes our show different. Because not everybody talks O-line. We talk O-line here, all right? Newsflash, I was an O-lineman in high school, too. All district, baby. I was kidding. I cut you down. But I'm with it,
Play
baby.
both sides? That's what happens in high school.
Yeah, you got to play both sides. Not just both sides, like predictable. Like if I'm on offense, if I'm on the right side, the ball's going right. If it's going left, that means I'm pulling. If I'm on the left side, ball's going left. Unless I pull right, then it's going right. It was that simple, man. Couldn't stop me though. 1,000-yard rusher. Let's get it. Let's get
behind you.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say
first 1,000-yard rusher in school history.
Wait,
too.
were they thinking you at running back though?
So this was my thing. I told them I'm not playing running back.
Really?
I didn't want to get hit, bro.
Whoa.
Our O-line was trash.
Okay.
At the time, it was trash. Yeah. I got down there and we upgraded it, but
so the 1,000-yard rusher was a big deal.
Yeah, heck okay. Yeah. That like we took pride in that. Like that's why I always like my O-lineman because I'm like, yo, I remember that feeling of, yo, we're gonna get you to this grand. We're gonna get you there. Every time you run it, you're like, yo, we did that. It's a different vibe. It's a cool little vibe. So that's why I always have a little soft spot for our offensive lineman. Because it's like I can relate to y'all guys, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, indeed. Andre, we got Andre, man. He just joined us. Andre just got hip to the club.
Oh,
he's officially a part of the Upper Room. Shout out to you, Andre. Yes, indeed.
What do we got next?
I'm getting back to.
I was gonna say
it was a couple more that I thought I saw with color in the middle of like us reading through. Oh no, we're good. Then we're back caught up. All right, perfect. Now we can get into this first topic.
Well, actually, it goes hand in hand with what the comments are saying right now. I'm seeing a lot of Julio.
Oh, perfect then. All right. So with that being said, man, we got to talk Julio. Don't you just love how that just popped up like that, right? Oh. We've been talking, but we haven't been talking what we came here to talk about because we don't need to talk what we talk about. We talk about what y'all want to talk about until y'all don't have anything to talk about, and then we come up with our own topics. Preparation. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
But surrounding Julio and what people are talking about, because obviously people might not have heard what had happened or why Julio and the Steelers became linked. Chase Claypool, he had not even a full interview. It was more so like a interaction with TMZ Sports. You know how TMZ, they'll run up on you wherever, whenever, however, with whoever. They don't care. And they simply asked him something like, yo, would you want Julio Jones? Would you like him? And he was like, man, I would love him here in Pittsburgh or something along. It was very simple.
Then he said, your receiving core stacked. He's like, hey, you can't have too many receivers.
No, he said too many superstars, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, he said you can't have too many superstars. And yeah, obviously that got Steeler Nation going. Julio. So we had to look into it. He's like, well, first off, before we even got into financially, could it work? I was like, just the basic premise of, would you want Julio in Pittsburgh? I think we should just start with that. Would we want Julio in Pittsburgh? We're not talking money. We're not talking fit. We're just simply the basic premise of, would you?
You would have to trade probably a second or first round pick.
They said they wanted a first rounder.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about the financials. I just said that, right? We'll get to the financials later because that changes things, right? We're talking about the simple, basic premise of yes or no. Do you want Julio for the Pittsburgh Steelers? And this is for y'all in the comments as well. Simple yes or no. Not elaborate, just yes or no if you want him. Because that will let us know, first off, just the overall interest, right? Because if everybody's like, well, nah, I don't want him. You don't want him. Then it's like, why are we even going to waste time on it, right? But if people do think about him like that, that changes things. Changes things a little bit, man.
It's interesting because it's yes and no. One, it's not. There's no shot in how this is happening. There's no shot.
See, you're going too far. We're not even there yet. How are you going to talk money? How are you going to talk no shot when we're not even talking if you want him or not?
There's too many factors.
No. You're trying to protect your heart. You know what you sound like? You sound like that dude who sees the hot chick and you're like, bro, she is so bad. You know what? I really don't think I'm going to get her. She probably ain't going to like me. So now you start saying this. Well, man, she probably eat too much. Man, she probably costs too much anyways. She don't even hang out on this side of town. Man, I ain't worried about her. I don't even like girls for real. Like, that's where you going right now. Like, you give me all these other things about Julio. No, just simply, do you want Julio? Yes or no? That's simple. Julio Jones, would you want him on your roster? Yes or no?
It's nuanced.
It's a simple yes or no.
It's nuanced in my opinion because
oh my God.
Part of me is just like, we don't need him. We don't need him.
Gosh.
We got Claypool, we got Deontay, we got Juju.
Are any of those guys Julio Jones or close to Julio?
They're
yes
not,
no?
But then that's the thing. Then we would have to maybe trade one of them.
We didn't say that. We didn't say any of that. We just simply said, would you want Julio? Yes or no? It's that simple. If you don't want him, just say you don't want him. You don't have to want him.
It's tough because I would like him.
No. You clearly don't. You over here going through this like great debate in your head of do I want Julio or not? Like, are we serious? That's like, do you want 7 as your quarterback? Just yes or no. We don't have to go through all these other things. It's just yes or no.
32 years old.
Think about this, right? If we were to talk about, do you want Ben back? Well, that means you got to lose Bud Dupree. That means you got to lose this guy. That changes the conversation. But the simple thing was, do you want Ben back? Yes. All right, cool. Go from there. So do you want Julio? Yes or no?
That's the thing. I still think he's got it.
So is it yes or no, man?
I can't give that answer because...
Why can't you? It's a simple, like, we're going to get to the other conversations, right? Because it's nuanced. It is. But how are you going to dive into the 5th layer of a conversation without going through the first layer? The first basic premise of the Julio to Pittsburgh conversation is, do you want him? Because if you don't want him, then there is no even purpose of an exercise of mentally going on there. But if you did want him, then it's like, wow, okay. What would it cost? All right. That's what it would cost. Could it fit? Okay. It could fit. All right. Well, why would Chase and other guys want him here? All right, cool. Then lastly, do we think it happens? You see, it's nuance, it's layered. But to just hop into, whoa, I don't know, man. No, man, we ain't there just yet. You on level 3. We on level 1 right now, man. Come on, baby.
Yeah, I'd like to have Julio.
Thank you.
Sure.
Was that hard?
It was. I'm telling you, it was.
That really that hard? Man?
I'm telling you, it was. But yeah,
but why was it that hard though? Why is it just hard to say he's a great player, a future Hall of Famer? He would be the best wide receiver on our team in 2021. Yes, Arthur Moats would want Julio Jones. Now we're gonna get to the next part of it, right? Because it's layers, it's nuance, and that's what makes it different. But the first part was just, did we want him? And now let me see who else. If anyone else, yes, we do. We don't need him. I know we're not talking need. We're just saying, do you want him or not? Do you want him? Sorogi says, yes, we do want him. All right, let's see who else is in here. Yes or no's? Because I thought I saw a no in here. Yeah, I just see people saying where other locations he could potentially go to. Here we go. Quincy says yes. Khalil. I don't know how you say that name. Kalil. Khalil says no. Luke Walker, obviously. Gyro says yes. A lot of course, no. Oh, okay. We got some no's. We got a heck yeah. Shout out to Tavion Chancellor. Then we got Quincy says yes. I mean, it's a good amount of yes. But then Moneybags, he's part of the upper room. He says no. But then Call Me K is part of the upper room, and Call Me K says yes.
So we got this is one of the things I was thinking. I'm sure we'll talk about this. This is by PB43YT. Thank you for your contribution. Julio would slow the progression of Chase and Deontay. So that was one of the things I was thinking of. But if you're just telling me we could add Julio Jones, we don't got to worry about anything else, sure. I mean, it's not going to hurt us for 2021.
It's a nuanced conversation.
Exactly.
The first part of the conversation, before you jump the gun, I see you jumping the gun. It's cool. You and PB43Y2, shout out to you as well, but y'all jumped the gun. It's cool. The first part was, do you want him? The second part is, why would Chase want him? Because remember, Chase was don't talk to me about slow progression. Either one of y'all. When Chase was the one who said, I would love him here in Pittsburgh. So trust me, Chase isn't worried about slow progression. In fact, if you're chasing Deontay, you would want Julio because number one, it's going to open up the offense for you that much more. Coverage standpoint wise, Julio is going to draw coverage that Chase hasn't drawn and that Deontay hasn't drawn. Julio, what he's going to do from an attention standpoint means instant one-on-ones Deontay, instant one-on-ones Chase, instant one-on-ones Juju. That is filthy right there. And in terms of asking price, we've seen that the Falcons wanted a first rounder for him, right? That's what they first had started out because contract-wise is different. He has 3 years remaining, but this is the last year of the guarantee money. It's going to be at 15.3, I think it is, for that price. Then after that, 11 the following 2 years, but none of that money is guaranteed. All right. So very, very, you can make that happen if you wanted to. That's all I'm saying. If they really wanted to, they could. But we're not to the money yet. Getting back to Chase. Chase wants him here because Chase understands that we love Juju, but Juju doesn't draw the coverage that Julio draws. We love Deontay. We think he's going to grow into a star. He's not drawing the coverage that Julio is drawing right now. Chase understands that if Julio is here, Chase numbers are going to go crazy. Deontay's numbers are going to go crazy. It's that simple.
Here's my question.
No, ready for this?
Go ahead.
Prime example. Ask Juju how much he benefited having AB across from him versus when it was no longer AB across from him.
Sure.
The proof is in the pudding. That part is there. So that's why I think it would make sense for Chase to want him here. That's my thing.
I just thought he was joking, dude. I did. I thought he was just talking tongue in cheek.
It's cool, man.
So you thought he was dead serious? Like,
why wouldn't
get
you
us
want him
Julio?
though? I don't think he's not saying get us Julio, because there's a difference between get us and would you want him. That's why I asked the question why I asked it. They just simply said, would you want him? Yes, I would love him in Pittsburgh. You could never have enough superstars. That is a absolute direct fact. Different conversation of, hey, should we go trade for him? Should we go out there and get him? Like I said, it's nuanced though. We're going to get to that part next. We getting there.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You see what I'm saying? We're building to it. We're building to it.
I got you.
We're just breaking down the different layers of it because a lot of people, they instantly hear, oh, Julio, heck no, it wouldn't work. Well, why wouldn't it work? Oh, the money. That's not true. Oh, it wouldn't fit. That's not true. So it's like, don't just give the cookie cutter dough because of, oh, it's the steal away, because we've seen that's changed as well, right? Minka Fitzpatrick, Devin Bush. We can go down the list of different things that they've done. So that's the part where it's like, yo, let's just spend a little time with it. That's all.
Sure. What's the next step in the progression?
So the next step is now we're talking the numbers, right? What would it cost? So if you're trading a first round pick, are you having to give up a player with that, right? What does that look like? That's my thing, because from what I've seen, they want draft picks. You've been bringing up players though.
No. So I don't think we'd have to trade anyone. It's either we trade like a first or second round pick.
Correct.
Maybe it's a second or third, second or fourth, as opposed to the first. So there's that. But then bringing him in, does it slow that progression of Juju? Maybe not Juju. Maybe Deontay.
Juju's who Juju is.
Yeah, Deontay, Claypool.
Deontay, low key, who Deontay is. Deontay's got to catch.
How does that look?
Think about this. How do we use Deontay? We use him around the line of scrimmage, right? Every once in a while we'll take a shot deep, but he's really get the ball in his hands early, let him make
Slants,
guys miss.
Drag routes.
Right. That doesn't affect Julio. What does Juju do? Juju works out of the slot predominantly. Now, I know Juju said that he wants to get back on the outside. Obviously, there's more money on the outside, but right now, he's a slot receiver. That doesn't affect Julio. Chase, he's affected by Julio because their games are probably the most similar, but Chase at this point benefits way more from Julio than he's hurt by Julio at this point in his career.
That's what I was wondering. Do we think Claypool takes that DK Metcalf step next year where he's the one drawing the attention? He becomes that bona fide star. If we bring in Julio, does that hinder it? But from what you're saying, it should really only help it in a way.
I don't,
especially too if Julio, he's 32 right now. What if he's on the roster for another year or two? Claypool would still be at 24, 25, and he could grow into his own at that point.
Exactly. And what veteran receiver can Chase go to that can coach him up on Julio type stuff? Like Juju can talk to him about work ethic, handling the limelight and things like that, but Juju was never in a Julio conversation. Like in terms of just the way that he can play the game and just change it at a moment, like just big play, just everything Julio has been a top 3 receiver pretty much his whole career. So that's where we're getting at. So it's like to have a guy like that, that's invaluable. Like it's going to be constant growth. Just think about when you're watching how Julio runs his routes compared to how Juju runs his routes. 2 totally different players. Chase can't look at Juju running that route and say, oh, okay, that's how I'm going to do this thing. That's how it's going to work for me. Like, nah, he's more in line with a guy like Julio.
That's a really good point then.
That's what I'm saying, man.
How you think then just by trading a first, second round pick, we could make the numbers work for this season? You
could. Yes, you could.
Or do we have to trade a player with it?
I don't think you have to trade a player with it. Now, I think that you would probably release somebody. You probably, whether it's a James Washington or somebody at that bottom, because you're just going to have too many pieces in there. That part you might see somebody get moved on. But as a whole, if they wanted to make the numbers work, they could. Now, there will be ramifications in terms of years going forward.
You wouldn't bring back Juju probably next year.
But that type of stuff.
If you have Julio, Claypool, and Deontay,
okay,
that's
now
that's
you see
pretty
what I'm
solid.
So now you see what I'm saying. Okay.
But I think then I'd probably rather have Julio at 33 than Juju at what? Okay. What would he be? 25 at the time.
Okay.
And now I know Julio had a down year last season, but I think that was a lot more to injuries.
Yeah.
I still think he could play at a high level for the next 2 or 3.
Okay.
So this is what we're doing then. You know what, man?
But you see, this is exactly why at the beginning, why I was so
I'm glad
adamant about you like starting at that part, because it's so easy every time people come up, especially like free agent stuff like this. And we joke about other people that, oh man, they constantly get that guy. And it doesn't really make sense, or it's not a connection, or it just doesn't fit. It's like this, it could work. Everything could make sense with this thing. Now, the last part of it though, and this is, I guess, the part where I, put my foot down, make my little stance here. The what we want them part. Or excuse me, not the what we want them, but do we think it should happen or will it happen? Now, the biggest reason why I don't want it to happen is if we're going to allocate resources, whether it's a first round draft pick, whether it's money, I would want it to go to a position of need, not more of a necessity or a luxury piece, right? Because at the wide receiver room, we're stacked out there. So to bring in Julio, does Julio coming here add more wins to our offense, make them better? Like, is he a great receiver? Sure, but we already have a ton of talent out there, right? Would be fun as hell. Compared to, like, for me, I've already said this obviously with Morgan, right? I would much rather us, if we were going to make a move on anybody, I would rather we get an O-lineman, right? A legit tackle, whether it's right or left, preferably right since Morgan is available. And then I already told you we would move Ben and have that 3-man competition at left tackle. That to me is what, if we were going to do anything, because I don't think the Steelers are going to do either of those guys right now, honestly, which makes me scratch my head because I'm like, you definitely should do the Morgan one. But
yeah, he's still available.
Yeah, he's still available. So that's the part for me where I'm just like, I don't feel like you should spend that type of money, draft or cash, on a position like that where it's, like you said, our wide receiver group, find a better group, like where it's clear cut, no debate. Like, yo, top to bottom, they're better. Not they have stars, because we talked about the conversation of stars versus a good group. Like, we feel like the Browns have the star power with Odell and Jarvis, but we feel like our group as a whole is better. We could say the same about Cincinnati and so forth. So that's the part where I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to spend that in the wide receiver room, man. Let's upgrade somewhere else, baby.
Yeah, if it's a first or second round pick too. Who knows what we're looking at in next year's draft too? Is it that we finally get that inside linebacker to pair up with Devin Bush, a bona fide edge rusher or something like that? Whereas even if we do lose Juju, whether he comes back or not, you see how easy it is for us to replace these receivers, man. We've done really good at that. Now, I don't know if our mindset changes because Ben's at the late stages of his career with that type of stuff, because a lot of people will say like, hey, we've had Ben for this long, so that's why we've had so many good receivers. But yeah, so I think that's in play too, and I think that's a good point because Julio, man, I mean, he's still going to be really good. He's still going to be like a top 10, 15 receiver, even at, 32, all the way up to like 34, 35.
And this is, I'm glad somebody brought this up right here. Brandon Minnick says Julio could bring those old Plax vibes. I feel like Julio, when he continues to age and get older, that's what he will fall to. He will become just the Plaxico type. You can throw it up to him. He's a red zone. He'll be a threat in the red zone, stuff like that. If that's what he's going to fall to, that's still really, really good. That's still a lot of productivity. We know what Plax is. I mean, shout out to Plax. He's from the crib. You know how I feel about Plax. But when I think of that, I'm like, that's what Julio ages to. And if that's what he's aging to, that's still daggone good, man.
And maybe at that point, in 2 or 3 years, maybe the salary will be a little bit more than what we
already
want.
said. It's supposed to have the big boost next year. We talked about that. Where
you're right.
Was it 60, 65 plus an additional cap space and things like that? That's why I said financially, if they wanted to make it work, they legitimately could. That's the thing. They could. But to me, I just feel like it's overkill for the wide receiver room. Like, you got too many guys in there right now.
So the hindering of Claypool, hindering of Deontay isn't the concern.
Correct. They wouldn't be hindered. They're going to grow. And think about this, right? A guy like Deontay, we love what he brings from a potential standpoint. But the consistency element, right? That's what he's going to need. Who better to talk about consistency than Julio Jones? Julio's been is light years ahead of the consistency compared to Juju, right? And the reason I bring up Juju is not as a slight, but he's the veteran. He's the oldest guy in the room. So that's the guy that they got to ask. You know what I mean? Like they're
maybe
going
not the oldest guy, but most years in the league.
The most years, right? So they're looking to him. So it's like, just think about when you're asking Juju about these type of things, being the man by yourself, consistent, things like that. He hasn't experienced that just yet. He hasn't proven that he could be the guy alone. Julio's been doing this for a decade. Julio could talk to Deontay about consistency. Julio could talk to Juju about handling the media even. Julio could talk to Chase Claypool about how to run routes and do certain things as a bigger guy getting in and out of his breaks.
You want to talk about media and
Come on,
just
man.
Staying low key.
What have we outside of the phone call with Shannon?
Him and Fitzgerald, man.
We never hear anything, bro.
Never. I mean,
yeah, man.
Those are all good points. It was a good mental exercise. I enjoyed doing that.
It's a little fun, man.
I enjoyed doing that.
Little morning workout, man. And Kenneth Beamer says, hit the like button, by the way. Just shout out to Kenneth for that. But a lot of people, man, I feel like some people are liking, they're liking the Julio thing, man.
I think you swayed us. I mean, you brought up a lot of good points.
I did see somebody say only Moats could make this make sense.
Seriously.
It's just, when I think of just the inner workings of why it could work or why it could not work, that's kind of how I take that approach. Like, instead of just the simple, it's the Steelers, they're not going to do it. No, it's like, man, it's reasons why they could do it legitimately and why they might. But this is why they probably shouldn't. But this is why, for me, I'm like, Morgan, if we're thinking any movement, which they probably will be thinking, and obviously we talk about free agency and stuff like that, right? We say you have the free agency period before the draft. Then you're going to have that free agency period after OTAs going into training camp. And typically this is when you'll probably see a guy like Morgan or Julio have movement, because some teams are going to want those guys in for OTAs, right? And OTAs are significant. But for veteran players, football is football. So no matter how complex you want to word it, no matter how cool you put the cover of the playbook, it's football. It's a puzzle. 11 on offense, 11 on defense. You could word it whatever you want to word it. We can figure it out. The veteran guys are like that. So it's not as pressing for them to be there for OTAs. So once you get a chance to see these younger guys practice, all right, how confident are you with this guy? How confident are that guy? Now that's when we could see some more movement, especially by the Steelers, if they aren't as satisfied with the O-line after the end of OTAs. Say Banner, his recovery is going well, but they don't feel like, hey, man, we want to bring in a little bit more insurance. You could see that type of thing happening then. So it still is hope. Still is hope.
So basically with Julio, the concerns about hindering receivers' growth.
Yeah. Don't worry about those.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But in terms of future resources,
that's the part.
Salary cap space.
That's the part. Think about this, right? If we're talking about money that could be going to, and I know you're not going to like this, but say Ben were to hang it up, right? He wins the Lombardi, MVP, Super Bowl MVP, goes out, blaze of glory, smokes a cigar with you. Y'all got the backwoods with the backwood getting it in. You know what I mean? And he goes up to the sunset. I would much rather us have the full deck of cards to go out there to replace him, whether it's draft or open market free agency, than us having money from Julio, that we're tied up in right now, because we wanted him in 2021 because we're trying to do it all now, but now it's got a little, got some crumbs over in 2022. I don't want to deal with that when we could potentially be looking at having to replace the franchise quarterback. That is the other part for me where I'm like, I don't want to tie up any money that we don't have to tie up going forward.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Juju's deal was 1 year.
Yeah.
Whereas Julio's would all of a sudden become 2-3. And like you said, it wasn't fully guaranteed. But
right.
if you
This
cut
is his
him,
last year of the guaranteed money.
There's going to be some dead cap with that then too.
Mm-hmm. So that's the part where I'm just like, knowing big picture what we have in store, whether it's next year, whether it's the year after that, I don't want a lot of bills due during that time. Because what if it's a situation where we think about the Rams, where they're like, yo, we're not worried about drafting a guy. We're going to try to trade for this guy. We know he has a crazy contract, but we feel like Stafford makes us better. What if it's a situation like that? We're like, yo, this guy makes us better. We don't want to deal with the draft. Let's put our resources, put our eggs in this basket and make that move. We want to have all the resources. That's what I'm saying.
Or if you just want to stack the defense, maybe.
Yeah, even that.
You draft the receiver in the second round. Juju's gone. You still have Claypool, Deontay.
Yeah.
This rookie receiver, maybe James Washington's gone too. But then you have Freiermuth, Harris. Yeah. Offensive line's improving. Maybe you just want to stack the defense.
Seriously.
And like you said, quarterback, I don't know what they would do, draft or bring in a free agent or something like that. But maybe just right there, that would be enough to be competitive, as opposed to if we have Julio, maybe that hinders us from getting an edge rusher, or maybe an extra cornerback, which would be, like you said, more of the position of need. Whereas
Absolutely.
receiver's probably going to be luxury for us in the next, 2, 3, 4 years.
Right. If I'm thinking in 2021, going into the season, the two positions that I want to upgrade, I'm thinking O-line, I'm thinking corner. If we're still making moves, I'm not worried about wide receiver though. Wide receiver, you can make the case that's the strongest position group on the team right now, realistically. Because the secondary, we have holes at the corner spots. We have holes behind Edmonds and Minka. It's not a lot of depth behind those guys. Yeah. Whereas with that wide receiver room, top to bottom, our weakest wide receiver is Ray McLeod, who was a dog as a returner. Think about that. Like he's
our fifth guy.
Our fourth receiver led the team in receiving in 2019. James Washington. Think about that.
Forgot about that.
He's the fourth receiver.
He had over 700 yards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
with Mason. Yeah.
That's your fourth receiver. And realistically, if we're talking about the hierarchy of targets, he's probably top 6 at best, because you're going to throw to Ebron and Najee before you make James Washington a feature. I'm like, dude, we are stacked. That's a ton of depth. We ain't even talk Pat. Yeah. I love Pat. Project Pat, Patty Pat, Shiesty Pat. All them nicknames for Pat. You know how we do. But yeah, man. So that was a fun little talk, though.
I enjoy that because I didn't know where that was going. I didn't know if we were going to talk Julio Steelers. I had a bunch of stuff about like Julio's top teams. I didn't even, I said, I just viewed Claypool's comment as a joke. I'm like, yeah, this would be funny, Now,
I do see people that think that he's going to go to New England. Do you think he's going there? I saw New England. I think San Fran, somebody said in the chat.
Yeah, there's a few teams. New England, Rams, Ravens, 49ers, Titans, Eagles. It could be any one of those teams because I wrote down the receivers they have.
Does he have any type of connections to any of those teams, though? Like coaching staff-wise?
49ers.
Shanahan, right?
Yeah. And their two receivers, their two main receivers is Ayuk and Debo.
And the young boy, yeah.
So Julio would be the receiver for them that they don't have.
Isn't Debo coming off an injury? Was Debo coming off injury?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did Ayuk get injured at some point?
He might have.
I thought he got hurt.
I think their team was a disaster last year.
Absolutely. I didn't even think about that.
But like those two receivers, they're like speedsters,
Yeah.
Route running, whatever it is, you get them in unique situations. You just try to get them the ball. They don't have that main guy.
Yeah.
And Julio would deliver that for them.
I was like, realistically, it's probably...
They're missing a first-round pick, though. Like some of these, it's Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. They're all missing next year's first-round pick.
Yeah, because Rams gave up everything. They constantly trading all this stuff, though. Gosh.
Patriots receivers suck.
Patriots are definitely in play.
They're in play for sure. Ravens, this one's interesting. Brown, Watkins, Bateman. Does bringing in Julio really help them considering how their offense is?
I feel like it doesn't. And I feel like Bateman, Watkins, and Julio, I feel like they're all going to be very like similar styles of what their routes are. You know what I mean? In terms of like the downfield stuff. Like
how many times are they going to get the ball?
Well, first off, it's Lamar. He's not throwing it that much. I mean, like he's going to be effective, but he's not. It's not like our offense where, we're going to sling that thing. Like, if you're Julio, that doesn't make sense. I wouldn't go there from Julio.
I think Titans make a lot of sense.
But I thought they said Titans weren't in play.
I've seen some stuff recently.
I saw where it said Titans weren't in play for him. Yeah. Because I thought that would make perfect sense, too.
I don't know if
him with A.J. Brown. You got Derrick Henry, obviously.
They literally have no other receiver on
They got
roster.
your boy Tannehill down there, too. He's nice. That's what you told him.
They don't have one other receiver, so you're right. If they pair him with A.J. Brown, like they don't even have depth. Like Seahawks, they at least already have Lockett, Metcalf, and that's why Patriots probably make sense too. I mean, their receivers are trash. Although they just signed a bunch of these dudes. They signed Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne.
Are any of those guys Julio? That's my thing.
They're not, but they shelled out a ton of money for those dudes.
Who cares? Like, bro, I don't care who's on your like, unless you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers, Tampa, Green Bay, Arizona. You can make a case in terms of Julio coming there, him not being the clear-cut number one receiver.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, I don't care who you just signed, how much money you just spent. This is Julio freaking Jones, bro. Like, he's like that. It's no different when we was talking about AB before AB went, had that little situation. It was like, it don't matter how much it costs. It's AB. If AB's available, you go get AB. Like, same conversation with Julio. If Julio's available, that's that type of guy, man.
I'm more or less ripping on the Patriots' decisions this offseason. I think they did good with their tight ends, but then to sign Kendrick Bourne and Aguilar for the amount that they got him.
The thing was for them, man, after last year, the opt-outs, and they were obviously they had the same cap situation like we had that first year when AB left, where they had a ton of dead money. Man, it just looked like they got their stimulus check and was like, you know what, we're gonna spend on everything, man. I know I don't need to spend $100 on this bubble gum, Nelson Aguilar, but he's like, you know what, I got the extra. I'm gonna spend $100 on this bubble gum.
They did it all on the first day too. Whereas you saw like Sanders, John Brown, some of these really solid dudes who I consider better than Kendrick Bourne and Aguilar going for close. Way less.
Yeah, you think what the Bills got Sanders for? Like, thank you.
Was it 6?
Yes.
Brown was 4.5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you look at Aguilar, it's like, whoa, I'm cool on that, man. Yeah. But anywho, and shout out to you, CB_HU23. Welcome to the Upper Room. Yes, indeed. I totally missed that. We was having our candid conversation. But sticking with the free agency, and I actually didn't have a topic for this one, so I will just close that topic real quick. Okay. But let's talk about Leighton, man.
Sure.
Because I saw him brought up, man. Obviously we had said we wanted to get on that anyways. I just figured, man, right now, what time is better than the present? We're already talking about little speculation elements and stuff like that. But Leighton Vander Esch, was he first round draft pick 3 years ago, if I remember correctly? Was it 3 years ago?
2018 was his rookie year.
Yeah, so 18.
Time's flying, man.
It is, man. It is. Was he first team All Pro Bowler as a rookie, right?
Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler as a rookie?
Bowler, but his stats were crazy.
Yeah, and then he hurt the following 2 years, if I remember correctly.
Yep, 9 games, then 10 games.
Yeah, dealing with a neck injury on top of that neck stinger. Yeah, I like him as a player. This is the thing, like healthy Leighton is a top 5 linebacker in this league. Problem is trying to keep him healthy, and my only concern with him is this. I remember Antonio Pierce. So you remember with the Giants defense when they beat the Patriots, he was their middle linebacker. I think it was like number 59 or something like that.
Oh, I remember.
He was a beast. He could get it done. He started having neck issues, and that ultimately cut his career short. I mean, he could have played a couple more years easily, but the neck was ultimately what debilitated him. And when I think of the inside linebacker position, every time when it's time for contact, you need that part. Like, you play a position where you're coming downhill and you're typically the smaller defender or the smaller person in these collisions, and you have to use your head, you have to use your neck, your hands, shoulders, and stuff like that. So knowing that that's been the element for him, it does make me a little hesitant about him. And I would also want to see the asking price. But if it was, something super duper affordable, we didn't have to give up a resource, more so if they just let him walk, release them. I like the flyer. I don't want to give up anything from him being injured the way that he is. No matter how dynamic he is, he falls into the Sean Lee category for me. Sean Lee was a great player. Sean Lee, you can make a case, man. If he's healthy, man, he's going to be a top 5, top 10 linebacker in the league, right? But the problem was he couldn't stay healthy for long periods of time. And the problem with that is it kills you from a preparation standpoint. If I'm game planning for you, Deke, to be out here 90% of the snaps, all my packages include you for 90% of the snaps, and you get out there and you only play 10% of these snaps, I'm killed. I'm dead. Now I'm hoping that this guy can pick up and do the things that I've designed specifically for you because of your athletic ability, your mental, capability and things like that. Now I'm trying to plug and play on the fly. I don't like that scenario.
Yeah, we saw it with James Conner at running back, but then also even a couple times last year at inside linebacker too. I remember the Washington game specifically. Spillane gets hurt halftime. All of a sudden, their running backs just going off left and right, and that wasn't happening when Spillane was in. So I don't know if it was exactly the same exact situation. What do you think of fit then? Him, Devin Bush. Do you think he all of a sudden he comes in if he's healthy? Like that's the tandem.
Trust me, if Leighton is next to Devin, you can make the case that Leighton is the better linebacker right now.
Okay.
If Leighton is healthy, Leighton has something that Devin doesn't have in terms of a full year, the productivity, the Pro Bowl, and things like that.
And you got size too.
No, for a fact, like Leighton is a dog. Like for me, going back a couple years, my favorite linebackers during that time of the younger group, not your Bobby Wagners and things like that, but I'm still a big fan of Darius Leonard. You hear me talk about him all the time. And Leighton Vander Esch. Those were the two guys that were supposed to be the next Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly. Funny, when you think about just the Bobby Wagner, Luke Kuechly, that whole dynamic, and then you get the same thing with these younger guys a decade later. It's like, dang, man, it's circle of life right here.
Yeah.
It's like, for real, like we got the same, like literally it's the exact same. But when you look at Leighton early in his career when he's healthy, man, like the dude could fly. He's physical. He can scrape over the top. He's smart. He can cover. Like he checks all those boxes. That's what made him and Jalen Smith down in Dallas so dynamic, right? And that's why Jalen ended up getting paid after that. And Jalen played better when he was next to Leighton when Leighton was healthy. That's what Leighton brings. So if Leighton is here and he's healthy, you can make a case, like I said, Leighton would be the alpha. Leighton would be the green dot guy, and Devin would be Robin. But with Leighton's injury history, that's the part where it's different. And I still don't know how confident I would be knowing that he's coming off of a neck and Devin's coming off of ACL, and then those two being my guys.
That'd be a great flyer to take, though, because it's not like we're losing anyone. We already have the linebackers we have in-house, and he would just... It would just be a flyer. It'd be like kind of the Haskins thing. It'd be low risk, potential high reward.
As long as if he's released or a free agent, I love it.
What about a fourth or higher?
Is he worth it? Yes. But my fear is buyer's remorse. We give up a 3rd round pick for him, and he's playing well the first couple of games. Dominant. Looks like he's supposed to look, and then the neck issue comes back up. I feel like that would be a loss for us right there. Like I don't feel as now. Granted, we will have more comp picks coming in because of the people who've left through free agency, so that could play into it as well, right? We know we're gonna get some picks coming back, so that part, sure. If you feel like, man, we're gonna get 2 comp picks in the 3rd or 2 comps in the 4th, we don't mind giving away one of these. If that's the case, sure. But if that's not the case, I'm cool on it, baby.
So they didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that would transfer over anyway.
Yeah, if they would have, then if we were going to trade for him, we would have had to pick up that same exact contract, and then from there we would be on the hook for that guaranteed money. Similar like with Minka. Remember how when Minka at the time the option wasn't even in play because he was I think after his rookie year. But if it had already been picked up, then obviously that money we would have to be on the books for, unless they said they wanted to take it.
So I don't know what they're looking to do at linebacker because they just drafted Micah Parsons, Jaylen Smith.
You know what they doing at linebacker? Micah Parsons is the guy.
It's saying I'm looking at this depth chart, but in their defense they got to have 3 linebackers out there, 4-3.
But
they have Leighton Vander Esch, but then they also have Keanu Neal. I guess they just signed.
Yeah, convert him
they
from
drafted
a safety.
Jabril Cox, so maybe
maybe
they are thinking about getting him out of there. I mean, that's why these rumors are happening.
When they drafted Micah Parsons, Dad said, "Bro, Leighton's gone." Because even though we talk about 3 linebacker sets, it's no different when we talk about base defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. How often are we actually in base 3-4 defense, and how often are we in sub package 2 linebackers on the field? So yes, on paper, defensive scheme for them, they are a 4-3 team, right? But they're going to be in sub package ball. Everybody plays sub package. You have to play sub package ball. You sit out there with 3 linebackers you want to when we putting out here. Oh, Juju's in the slot. You want that linebacker working on that? You better put a receiver. You better put a corner out there. Put a safety over there. Come on, baby. But
I would love this move.
If he's healthy, that's my thing. The same way you felt about Julio, I saw how you were trying to like gauge your heart. You didn't want to open up. You were like, it ain't gonna work. I don't think it fit. I don't like him anyways. Well, he 32.
Claypool gonna be better than him anyway.
He too quiet anyways. We got Claypool. Okay. We got Spillane. Okay. We got Vince. Okay. But for me, like, I'm trying to guard my heart because I'm nervous. I'm like, I want to open up and be like, yes, Leighton, please come join the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Like, just imagine him and Bush.
Like, I love his game. I do. But knowing what it could look like in terms of, I'm not emotionally available for another James Conner situation right now. That's what I'm trying to convey to you. You know how, like, you get out of that long relationship, it was a little toxic. You had that relationship, it was toxic, a little back and forth, and you just like, yo, I need to work on me right now. I just got done with an injury situation. Sure. I need to work on me right now, okay? I got to build my trust back up.
And this is linebackers too, so this will probably hit even harder.
Home. Yeah. Listen, I love James, so I was very like, I'm not gonna get on James. James is my guy. Like, I can't do it. LBs though, I hold it's a different level of intensity how I look at that spot, and I don't want to do that to I can't do that today. I can't.
I'd love it if we took the chance though.
I'm not opposed to it though. But now let me pull up because I did see in the chat. Here we go, right here. So a couple people though, they aren't as fond of him. Now Josh Josh Seamer, make sure I say that right. He says he doesn't want Leighton. He says no because Avery is still a free agent. Talking about Avery Williamson. A lot of people still like Avery, feel like he could come in and still get the job done at a high level with the full offseason. And A. Farrell seconds, he says no, Avery's a free agent. Much rather would have Avery. Juicebox 32. Why didn't we re-sign Avery?
Man.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, man.
What do you think of that then? For what amount? Because we thought initially he was going to be in the 7-8 range, but now what are we looking at? Now it's probably like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the longer it goes, the number goes down, or at least we would assume that. In terms of what could be playing into it, honestly, there's a lot of factors. You got the Steven Nelson approach where I want to say it was Steven who said basically like he's not looking to sign right now, but when he's ready to sign, he'll sign. I know Richard Sherman says similar things.
They're confident they have a lot of offers in. It's just like, we'll wait it out.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of veterans, we don't want to go to OTAs. Newsflash. Why you think it's such a big deal when we show up to OTAs? We hate OTAs. It's like, it's cool. We don't really want to get to OTAs. And the biggest way to avoid the conversation around OTAs is just not be signed during this time. Because if you're under contract and you're not showing up, even though it's voluntary, they take attendance, which we would always laugh and say, well, why are you taking attendance? Not the team, like the team used to, then we got on them about that. Like, if it's voluntary, why are you taking attendance? What you docking me for? Then it was the media. The media would say who's there or not. Now the new trick is this, and I'm gonna school you. I'm gonna get a little, if y'all want to know who's available, who's there or not. They post certain pictures of certain players, like veteran players, when they're there.
Yeah,
they will post those guys' pictures on the websites, social media, so everybody knows they're there. When they're not posting them, just a little, I'll give you just a little nugget right there. All right,
but Juju and Claypool. They were there.
I just gave a little nugget, all right?
Yeah.
So, and the response is we can't talk about who is not in attendance. We only talk about those that are in attendance, and they just kind of leave it at that. So that, the OTA standpoint, dudes ain't really trying to be there for that. Not the veterans. Like, so that could be another reason why Avery in particular isn't signed anywhere. Not in terms of ability, because for a fact he has the ability. We know he has the ability, but that could be it as well. And then also in terms of him coming back to Pittsburgh, I said it was a couple of things that could play into that. Not only could it be that the team is confident in the guys they have in terms of Spillane, Vince, Devin, Gilbert, Ulysses Gilbert. Yeah, I was like, it's Gilbert. Yeah, Gilbert, and then obviously Marcus Allen, big buff, because my man thick now, thick. But to me, if I'm Avery, you could be asking yourself, "Whoa, do I want to come back?" Because we talked about
how last season played
absolutely
out
because we said at the beginning when he got here he didn't play a lot, which was understandable. He was coming on a move and train, and Spillane was playing well. Once Spillane got hurt though, and Avery came in and played well, we saw Avery playing at a high level. To see that he was taken out in favor of Spillane, who didn't have the best game in the playoffs, that could rub him the wrong way. Not saying it did, but it could, because as a player, if you feel like, man, I've invested, I'm a big part of why we're here as well. I came here, I made plays defensively the past couple of games, and now you're going to take me out for Spillane. And not a shot at Spillane, but Spillane wasn't a high pedigree draft pick like Devin Bush. Spillane didn't have a ton of money tied into his contract like Vince Williams. So that could be another reason for Avery where you're like, bro, you did that for what? Like, I'm cool on you. I don't trust you. And it's not like Avery has been here and had multiple years of building that rapport with his coaching staff. So that could play into it as well. Just in terms of Avery coming back to Pittsburgh, that could be a part. Not saying it is, but it's a lot of variables that go into why a guy could potentially still be available like Avery, because Avery's a good player, man.
It's funny because he made a post on Instagram a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. He was in a Steeler jersey. I can't remember what the caption was, but I think we even talked about it. Oh, is he hinting at a return to Pittsburgh? I think he said like more to come, or like
because it was him like in pregame or something like that. Yeah, with the uniform. Yep.
I can't remember what it was, but there's that, and then I guess in terms of like Vander Esch versus Williamson, I think my thing with Vander Esch is one, his contract's pretty low right now, and it'd just be a 1-year deal. It's not like I think there would be much risk to it. Yeah. But then just seeing the year that he did have, his rookie season, if we could get back to that, like 90% or something.
If he's healthy, you can get that. That's my thing. He's young.
Like, I would rather have that than just bringing Williamson in. What's he, 29, 30, and who knows? I don't know if he's going to he's probably going to just want a 1-year deal.
Of the available guys, Avery included, Leighton would be the best linebacker if he's healthy. That's what it is right now. Like, Leighton is like that in terms of a proven commodity. We're not saying that Devin won't surpass him. We do think that Devin has the capability to surpass him. Difference is, though, Devin is a lot smaller than Leighton. Leighton is a big dude, man. So just, I like a little bit of size with my inside linebackers, guys that can move and cover and things like that. That's why I like Darius Leonard. Do I like him, man? So yeah, you can't go wrong with Leighton, but he has to be healthy. It doesn't make sense if he's not healthy, man.
It makes you wonder why the Cowboys are so eager to rush off him too. Yeah.
And we know is Dallas. Dallas they pay everybody. They don't care.
They kept Sean Lee around a long time too.
So I'm like, if you're moving on after 3 years, and this was a guy that you invested the same level of investment that you had with Sean Lee,
actually more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what's the difference? Why did Sean Lee get this evergreen? You weren't bringing in replacements. Well, nah, you waited. It wasn't like you drafted Leighton in year 2 or 3 for Sean Lee. No, you drafted that dude later down the line. So yeah.
Either way, I guess we would like the upgraded inside linebacker, but it seems there are, I guess, positions. I don't know, inside linebackers up there. We probably have 3 or 4: corner, edge rusher, inside linebacker, offensive tackle. Those are probably the 4. Now, maybe inside linebacker's 4th on that list. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, whoa! We got to.
I hope we make a move. I hope we make a few moves because if we got Richard Sherman, we got Vander Esch. Maybe bring in Justin Houston.
So funny thing, we're not going to stay on this part too much longer because we got another dude we got to talk about. But Bilo Shiesty and a lot of other people, they do say they like Leighton. They feel like he can come in and ball. Obviously, Scott Thomas says don't give up on 98. He feels like Vince still got to. I'm with you. I tell you, any of my 30 and up guys, I hope they kick every 25 and under guys booty. All right, we represent for the old heads out here. We're not even we just in our prime right now. Represent. But Peter H, I got to bring this up because this is a name. This is a blast from the past for me in particular. He says, has Kiko Alonso signed anywhere? You remember Kiko Alonso?
Yeah. You want me to check?
Yeah, man. That's my boy from Buffalo, baby. Gosh. I haven't thought about
free
it
agent.
in a minute. Yeah, so free agent. Now, he's dealt with a ton of injuries. He's had a ton of knees, ton of ACLs, man.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't even play at all last year.
Yeah. He has a ton of injuries, so that's the thing with Kiko. I'm glad, ton of that. But that's my dog, though. Shout out to Kiko, man. Kiko was that dude for a little while, man.
Yeah, he did have a really solid career with Miami. Yeah, you're right. Rookie year, 159 tackles.
We thought he should have got rookie of the year. We were campaigning for that. That was my last year up in Buffalo.
What happened? He got traded to the Eagles for Shady.
Yeah, so what happened was this. After his rookie year, he tears his ACL training probably a month or 2 before OTA started. It was like early during August because he had surgery or whatever from his rookie year and was just rehabbing and then tore his ACL while rehabbing. They trade him for Shady while he's hurt, though. That was the crazy part. But remember, Shady was coming off. It was like, all right, Shady's done, whatever. And then Shady made the big deal about not wanting to go to Buffalo. Then from there, he goes to Philly. I think he stays in Philly for like a year or 2, maybe.
Yeah, just a year.
Yeah, and then from there, Miami for
3 years.
3, and then goes to New Orleans, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, but he just kept getting hurt, man. He had ACL and hip ACL Buffalo. I think ACL in Miami once, and then again in New Orleans, if I remember correctly. But it was a ton of injuries with him, man.
One of the names I was thinking, this was earlier on in the free agent process, was Quan Alexander, talking about injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
He's still out there, 26. He's young.
He's only 26?
Yeah.
I feel like he's been around forever. God, dog.
He's got a Pro Bowl, man. Like, I think that would be a pretty cool flyer if we're not going to do Vander Esch.
Well, and Rod Dollar just said, what about Reuben Foster?
Yeah,
he's another guy. Now, Reuben, I thought Reuben did get cleared. Yeah, because I remember he had the chick was like saying that he did something to her. I don't remember the details of it, but he did get his name cleared with that. So,
yeah, 27 years old.
We got some options at linebacker though, huh?
Yeah.
Reuben Cabal though.
Yeah, there's a lot of names.
I remember when Reuben came out, he was that dude. Oh, he was that dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of names in free agency, all positions, or just even just players available, whether it's for trade or not. So I would love if we made a couple more moves.
Yeah. Hopefully we will. And like I said, we have options. We do have time as well. Like I said, during OTAs, some teams, they just feel like, hey, man, we want to wait and look at these guys we have here right now. See if the rookies, the undrafted guys, what do they look like with the veterans? Because that's the part that you don't get in rookie minicamp only. Typically in rookie minicamp, it's only rookies in year 1 guys, right? Guys who don't have a full credited season. Whereas now during OTAs, you're going to get to see Mark Gilbert versus Chase Claypool in practice. You're going to get to see Shakur Brown line up across from Deontay Johnson in practice. You're going to get a chance to see Calvin Bundage rush against Chooks Okorafor. Like, those are the things that if your organization, you're kind of like, well, wait. We can wait right now. We got time. We're not playing a game tomorrow. So, yeah, this is the time where you can really evaluate those guys. Guys like Buddy Johnson, right? What does he look like? How does he pair with, can you pair him with Vince? Can you pair him with Devin? Nah, I ain't putting him out there with Devin yet. Nah, we'll pair him with Spillane or the young guys. Get him out there with Marcus Allen. Let's see, can he be a leader with that group? Those are the things you want to evaluate right now. Those are the things you get a chance to see. So,
cool.
I like it, man. All right, so getting back to our topics here, man. And we're not going to stay on this one long either, man. But we had to know. Bro. The curious case of Jaylen Samuels. I felt like was at 2018. He had the insane game against the Patriots, right? You got the numbers for me on that?
I do. Yes. 172 total yards. Actually, no. I was going back and forth with all these free agents. I know
he went crazy.
Yeah, he had 172 total yards.
Was it 2 touchdowns?
He had at least a touchdown, I believe. Hold on, I got it. Give me 1 second here. But no, he went off that game. And what was surprising when we look back on the game logs is he did a lot of that on the ground. I thought he had much more in the receiving game because that's kind of what he became known for.
Right.
As his career went on, it was like, oh, man, he's going to be this multifaceted running back. We put him at tight end. He's this good receiving back. Yeah, he only had 2 catches for 30 yards in that game. He had 19 attempts rushing the ball for 142 yards. No touchdowns, though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he just went off that game.
That game, he was the talk, right? And then, obviously, throughout this offseason, we've talked about the different running backs that have come in. Najee Harris, obviously, has dominated the headways. And then even Kalen Ballage. But hearing people talk about Kalen had people bringing up Jaylen Samuels. And I wanted to know from the people, like, do y'all still feel like Jaylen is a capable running back? Do you think that he makes the team? Do you think he fits in with this running back route right now? Because when I think of Jaylen, I'm like, that game was crazy against the Patriots. He showed flash. Then I remember he was pivotal in terms of us beating the Bengals. Was that following week or 2 weeks later when he was doing all the Wildcat stuff?
Yeah, well, this was in 2019. Though.
Oh, yeah, so that was the following season, right?
Yeah, he had a really good game against Bengals. He actually had a couple passes where he was shuffling it forward, so they gave him 3 for 3 for 31 yards doing that. He had 8 receptions, 57 yards. He had 26 on the ground, so he had a lot of all-purpose yards in that Cincinnati game. He had a touchdown, and that was something at that point. Our offense was terrible. I mean, Ben got hurt in that Seattle game. San Fran, we were 0-3 at this point, and even though the San Fran game was close, the only reason it was close is because they let it be close. They gave us literally like 5 or 6 turnovers. Offense was stalling.
Like nuts, bro.
The only reason we got that 1 touchdown late was because they brought in, I think, that backup cornerback, and we tested him.
The shot on him.
Yeah, it was the first play.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we had that shot with Deontay, and then Juju taking it to the house for like 75. We had no other offense.
Yeah, you're right.
So for Jaylen Samuels and Connor to be doing that Wildcat stuff with the Cincy game, it was just a really solid game all around. And then after that, he did nothing rest of the season. He had 13 receptions for 73 yards against Indy, which I remember that, man. Mason was just plopping. Like, he was just checked down left and right. And then if you look at it, it's 13 receptions for 73 yards. Like, it's
Deacon Dots, man.
It was, but actually, I thought that was Mason's best game at the time. And then he had a touchdown against Cleveland in that Thursday night one. I don't know if you remember that.
Are you talking about the helmet one?
Yeah, the helmet game. He had the 1 touchdown, but still, he had 5 rushes for 26 yards, 5 receptions, 19 yards in that touchdown. It was just on like a swing pass, but then last year he did nothing too. So.
But it's fun. I'm looking at these comments right now, right, in terms of the perception around Jaylen Samuels. And this is, I'm just going to read a couple real quick. All right. So here we go. Jaylen Samuels, this is from Rod Dow's, right? He says he's going to make the team.
Whoa.
Because he has the most natural hands in the running back room. Destin versus the world? I really like Samuels. He fits. Let's see. Now, this is interesting right here. Ontarius Barnes says he looked like Jaylen Samuels had picked up weight last year. He was like a thicker player. All right, make a case for that. I don't know if he was as explosive or not. I don't feel he got enough
I just remember us actually putting him in at the worst times. Where it's like, why is he on this 3rd and short? Just give it to Snow or something like that.
Absolutely. All right, now Paz says he's going to be gone. He doesn't think that he's going to be here. Now, Toxic One North, hot take. I think McFarland could get the boot.
Wow.
All right. Okay. And now
we still have 5 or 6 running backs. So there's going to be 2 that get
two. Got it. Yeah, because you got Trey Edmonds. You have was it Trey, Jaylen, Kalen? There's a lot of Aylens and Galens. You got Benny, McFarland, and then you got
Harris.
Najee. Yeah, that's 6.
Yeah.
Jeez.
3. I mean, you'd assume Edmonds probably. And then that's actually interesting for those last 2.
Now, Kenneth Beamer says he had talking about Jaylen again with the hands. Now, I did see something in here about Trey. I'm trying to find that comment because Call Me K says they could move or they should move Samuels to tight end and cut Zach Gentry.
Oh yeah, easily.
I remember he was like, "Who's this guy?"
I've been calling for Samuels at tight end since they gave him that designation.
Oh man,
and you could do it in Madden and stuff easily. Yeah, we're good. We don't need Gentry, man. We don't.
And here we go right here. So Thomas Riley says Jaylen Samuels is the forgotten child of the Steelers. I'm trying to find where it was in the comment section, but this was like the perfect comparison of who James or who Jalen's area is right here. So Jethro Scooter says Jaylen Samuels is the James Washington of the running back room.
I think James Washington's better.
Okay, but they both have very, very small sample size, right? Now, granted, James had the one season where he actually led the team in receiving, so I would
with Mason and Duck. I mean, over 700 yards is actually pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll give him the nod for that because I was like, outside of that, we don't see a lot of productivity from. I mean, like James has his flashes, but yeah, I'm still gonna go. Yeah, I'm going James. I feel like James has consistently been more impactful with his opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Last year, think of some of those touchdowns.
James will have 2 targets, 1 touchdown for 50 yards. Like that's what he does. Whereas with Jaylen, we talked about like now. Granted, I do feel like we both agree that they utilize Jaylen bad at times. It's kind of like, why do you want to put him in this situation? But to each his own, to each his own.
I think he had really bad luck in my opinion because that Patriots game, even like the Saints game, did he play another game or 2 in that 2018 season? But I thought he was really good.
He was that, yeah.
And remember, this was the season where James Conner got the start all season, made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And then to see Jaylen Samuels come in when Conner got hurt and do what he did against the Patriots Saints game, you're just like, man, we definitely don't need Bell. We might not even need Conner. I don't even care what running back we throw out here. So going into that offseason, Jaylen Samuels proved all that stuff at the end of the 2018 season. You were thinking, like, he brings something to the table that Conner can't. Conner's the more bruising running back. He is a pretty decent pass catcher, but it seems like Samuel, he could bring a different element in that pass catching, and who knows what type of maybe 2 running back sets we could use, or if Samuels will be spelling Conner more than we think coming in. He was like even like a fantasy sleeper, I think people were talking about him. But what screwed him was, in my opinion, Ben getting hurt in that Seahawks game. And then all of a sudden,
that did change the outlook of everything.
We have Mason coming in, then Connor's getting hurt left and right, and then Samuels does have to take a larger workload. But then you see, like, he's not really the guy. Maybe our offensive line was declining a little bit. Like, I think he had the perfect storm at the end of 2018 with where our offense was. But then just the fortunes completely flipped because then we drafted Benny Snell in that 2019 season. When you see Samuel's not really getting anything going. We gave Snell a couple chances where he did well in like the Bengals game.
Yep.
And then the offseason comes again. We draft McFarland. So you thought Snell had more upside than Samuel. We draft McFarland. He's bringing an element that none of our running backs can have. So we had this conversation last year where we were like, was Samuel's the forgotten guy when we had the 4 running backs? But now it's even worse because we just drafted Najee Harris. And it feels like we didn't even use Samuel at all last year. And when we did, it was bad.
And some people are high on Kalen Ballage as well. Sure. So, I mean, it's just added to that room, man. Now, looking back in the chat right here, Rod Dollars thinks that McFarland is going to be on the practice squad this year. Well, I mean, we talked about how deep the room is right now, man.
I know. I mean, someone's going to get cut.
It's going to be good players that are going to be on the street. Like, that's how it happens.
Yeah, either Snell, McFarland, Samuels. Man, if I had to bet, what would your bet be right now?
In terms of what?
If the 2 out of the 5 who would be cut. Maybe this is too soon.
This is
Yeah, because if
I
McFarland
need to
looks,
see some preseason too.
yeah, if McFarland looks
Yeah.
different than what he did last year.
Yeah, because think about how good Benny Snell looked year 2 in the preseason versus well, obviously he didn't get the preseason, but in year 2 compared to remember in year 1, we were like, yo, we thought that
his preseason was terrible.
We thought he should have got cut for Trey. Because we were like, man, Trey looks like the better player, more explosive, twitchier, like productive.
He looked way better in that regular season, like in the Chargers game, and then when he came in the Bengals game too.
And he had a nice run in that Seahawks game too that year. He had the little 20-yard third down run. So, man, this is interesting though.
I don't think so. Unless we switch him to tight end, I do think he's gonna get cut.
But now, this is Joga. Make sure I say that right. Joga says Samuels is kind of short for tight end, right? Yes, and I was gonna say this has always been my big knock when people talk about moving Jaylen to tight end. If I never got a chance to like see him in person, like stand next to him, it might be different. I'd be like, well, you know what? Maybe it's just the angle. Maybe he's a little bit bigger, taller, and things like that. Seeing him in person,
he's shorter than you.
He's a small guy. I just not little, but smaller. And well, now I don't want to do this. Because I was gonna say the big issue that I would have with him at tight end obviously would be blocking. But then I said it can't be too big of an issue because I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. But it can't be worse.
Well, if he's gonna be your third tight end, that's probably gonna be a requirement. The blocking, right?
Right. That's what I'm thinking because you're not gonna be the target guy. You're gonna be the guy to come in on the grunt work. 1st and 10 or short yardage. Like that's not what you're doing. That's not his game. I'm thinking to myself, and this is how I always gauge it. I say, me retired. You know if you got a guy or not. You know if a guy can block you or not. If he ain't blocking me and I'm retired, I ain't seeing that, man. I ain't seeing it, baby. I ain't want to do, but it's the athlete in me, right? As an athlete, I size up everybody out. If I feel like
we should do that, the Moats versus Jaylen Samuels challenge.
If I feel like you're athletic a little bit when we first meet, I'm gonna check you out. I got him. And when I look, I'm just like, if we're talking routes, I like Jaylen, like him a lot. Running that rock, I like him a lot. He ain't blocking me though. No. And that's a key component. Like you said, if you're the third tight end, that you have to be able to block. Have to be. So that's my only thing with that.
I think he had some bad luck. I really do, because if Ben doesn't get hurt in 2019,
that could have changed it. That could have changed the trajectory for his career, man.
Connor got hurt. I mean, he was getting hurt too. Like, it's not one of those things where you could look back.
Why you gotta say
no, my reason for saying that is like, in 2019, if Connor was healthy and Samuels was healthy and everything, and they're doing these 2 running back combinations, or Samuels is getting time and things are just humming on offense, like he may have just carved out a role there. Yeah. But with Connor getting hurt, all of a sudden he had to become the main guy. Ben was out. So I think it was a bad string of luck for him, and then he just became the forgotten man.
It's like
it's crazy. Man. Yeah, it's crazy how some of those things. But then if you just think about it a little bit more, you're like, dude, if you're that good, you find a way. Where it's like we're not trying to make these arguments or cases for you like the third or fourth running back on the team. It's like, dude.
And I'm just thinking at tight end, do I like trying to just move him? It says he's 6 foot 225. That's baby. That's a little.
Oh, and if you think he's actually smaller than you too, or you think that height's a little generous?
That's all I'm saying, man. No. Shout out to not Juice Box. Somebody did. Where are we at? I hate when the screen jumps. But Call Me K. So Call Me K says if Tebow can play tight end, then Samuels, and then obviously I saw where Joga talks about Tim Tebow being 6'3". Juice Box as well reiterates that. That is the big difference. Now, a lot of us still don't feel that Tebow can play tight end, right? It's one thing to look the part, right? Have the muscles, have the size. But when we're talking about playing NFL caliber tight end, not college tight end, not Division II, not high school, we're talking the best of the best, right? Guys do this their whole lives and they can't even do it. So that's the reason why a lot of people are skeptical, not even factoring in the fact that he hasn't played football since how long has it been now?
Almost 10 years.
And he's been training predominantly for baseball during that time. It's not like he was, because the thing was, Kaepernick, can he come back? Kaepernick's been training for quarterback, but that's neither here nor there. But Tim has been playing baseball. So that's another reason why a lot of people are skeptical about him. But at the end of it, Tim is still a big man. Like, when I stand next to Tebow, I'm smaller than Tebow. And I'm a decent sized guy. That's the difference. So even if he isn't the best blocker, Ebron as well, right? And this is why I always have my issues with Ebron from that standpoint, because it's like, Ebron is a big man. A lot of times the size alone is going to help you. You just got to have that desire, that dog, that, all right, I know it's going to hurt a little bit, but I'm going to hopefully inflict more pain than I'm receiving. Not everybody has that mentality. That's going to be the part where we find out with Tebow. We're not going to find out in OTAs. if Tebow is getting hit in OTAs like that, Urban Meyer needs to get fired. Like, you don't hit in OTAs. Like, it's a reason why the Seahawks got fined and Pete Carroll got fined the way they did. I think it was 5-6 years ago when they were getting a little too aggressive in OTAs. Tough guy championships or for training camp. Training camp preseason, be as tough as you want. OTAs, you're not going to get that. So Tebow should look great right now because he is a good athlete, right? We're not saying he's Taysom Hill athlete, but he's a good athlete. But either way, both of those guys, in terms of Ebron and Tebow, they have the basic prerequisite of just the size part of it that Jaylen is lacking. And I think that's another reason. I know for me, that's my biggest reason why I'm just like, I don't want Jaylen at tight end. Moving around as an H-back, maybe, off ball. He could be the motion guy running routes that way. Sure. But you're not doing that with your third tight end, though.
Well, there's that too, and we're pretty much stacked at 6-7 skill positions. Like, are we going to take Freiermuth off the field to get Samuels in there?
Would I rather be throwing the
Even
ball?
James Washington.
Would I rather throw the pass to Ebron or would I rather throw the pass to Samuels? Like, those are the questions. Not we're not saying the catch part of it. We're saying once the ball's in the hands part of it or the route running part, who would we rather throw it to? All right, we're not going to worry about the percentage of it being caught or not. We're not going there. All right, we can do that another day. All right, we're staying happy this morning. All right, it's the wake and bake. Oh, man. Oh, and I forgot I can't say Tebow in the chat, man. That got the whole thing going right now.
And Tebow block Moats?
The answer to that is PG-13. Hell no.
Whoa.
Okay, PG-13. Hell no. Nah, never. Not a chance. Just throwing it out there. Not a chance.
What he's got in Jacksonville, though, is that Jacksonville's tight ends are terrible. So he might make the roster.
Yeah, it's set up perfect for him. It's set up perfect. I'm like, you got the coach, you got the depth around you, everything is good.
What I can't see him doing is making like nice cuts and routes and stuff.
I'm not even worried about that. Like, when I watch, because from a tight end standpoint, you have the guys that run routes like Travis Kelce or oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on the guy in Philly, Zach Ertz, right? Where they have an extensive route tree. Those guys are one-offs. Those guys are a bigger version of what Kyle Pitts is, right? In terms of they're bloated wide receivers, not as a negative, but that's what they are. Whereas the majority of tight ends aren't running those type of routes. The majority of tight ends, man, they gonna run. You got a stick right over the ball, about 5 yards, 10 yards for possession downs. You got outs, you got ins, you got stops. You got routes where you just basically run directly at a defender and create contact, turn around, catch the ball. That's what the majority of tight ends are running. They're not running these 7 stop and goes deep overs. Like, they're not doing that. So if you expect Tebow to do that, yeah, you're gonna be sadly mistaken because those guys are a lot faster than Tebow as well. We talked about what Tebow ran, I think, was a 4.7 when he came out. And that was 10 years. Yeah, not longer now because that was when we came out in 10. Yeah. So obviously he's a lot slower than those guys even when he was younger. That's another part of it. So I'm not worried about that. I think the biggest thing that he's going to have issues with is just the physical nature of when they put a D lineman or linebacker in front of him and now asking to run that route. You can run a route if you're free release. Deke, you can run a free release route. I can coach you up on that. We talked about this. I can coach you up when it's free release.
We saw my tape.
Right. That tape was hot too. Your tape was hot. But it's a difference when it's a grown man in front of you and he's telling you, I'm going to put this hand and this hand in your chest while headbutting you and I'm going to make you quit. Like, that's what I'm going to try to do every play. And then after that play is over, I'm going to come back and do it the next play and then the next play. That's the part where Tebow is going to have to get used to that. Think about it. Tebow has been a quarterback for how long? You realize quarterbacks don't even get touched in practice.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go to a position where it's headache drill, as a tight end in running game. Like, you got to be the guy moving guys off. That's the part where I'm like, that's the game changer. We've seen guys that can run routes that can't block. if you're not an elite route runner and you're not an elite blocker, where do you fit? We know he's not Ebron in terms of running routes. We know he's not Gronk in terms of blocking. Where does he fit? Where does he find his role? Good situation in Jacksonville, though, because the coach loves him.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's
like,
a saving grace, man.
He might be able to just make it as, like, the tight end, too, like you said, where he's not relied upon for running the routes. If his blocking's just above average or something, he might make it, and especially for the publicity purposes. Jacksonville, all of a sudden, this offseason has become, like, probably a top 15 team to watch. They draft Lawrence, they draft E.T., and they bring in Tebow. Urban Meyer, first-year head coach in the NFL. Now it's like, no matter what happens, if they're going to be a dumpster fire or whatnot, they're going to be interesting to watch.
Ain't no question, man. I'm excited. They are going to be an exciting team to watch for a fact. So I'm good with it, baby. Yeah. I am good with it. But how do we get on Tebow? Oh, because
tight end.
Yeah, I was like, how the heck we didn't even talk about Tebow. I don't even want to talk about Tebow today. Anywho, ready for this last topic, man, before we get up out of here, bro?
Definitely.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Talk a little NBA real quick. Man.
Sure.
Gotta talk a little hoops, man. Can we start with Denver? Because that was that. I mean, I don't want
whatever you want to talk about.
Because you know I was already hot earlier today.
Yeah.
I was pretty heated before we got on, and I don't want to go there just yet. But can we talk Portland? Portland and Denver. Man, that game was crazy. More importantly, Dame Lillard. Oh my gosh. I know you had a chance to see some of those shots, man, but dude, I just feel so bad for him at times because I'm like, he literally is doing everything out there. Clutch shot after clutch shot, timely passes, everything you need. And then it's just like, he always loses. It kills him, man. It's just to go for 55, to break the playoff 3-point record, and then to have it in the way to the end. You saw the play. I mean, it's just like, bro, what are we doing here? Work with me, man. Work with me, man.
That was one of the things, too. I get home from band practice yesterday, and I see some of the scores that are going on. I see the Portland game. It's really close. I don't think it was on it was like on NBA TV.
So, yeah.
So I see on TNT the Lakers and Suns. I'm like, I'm not turning this thing on.
We're not going Lakers Suns yet. Come on, because I'm trying not to curse today.
But yeah, I see how the Portland game ends up. I check the highlights and everything, check the box scores, and obviously everyone's just going crazy about Dame Lillard. And I end up seeing that they lose by 7 at the end. I'm like, bro, this is like the epitome of his career, honestly.
Yes, bro.
Because we've seen it how many times where even last season's a really good example of it because he completely goes off in the first round of the playoffs. Everyone's like, oh, Dame time. He's going to lead these guys past him.
Dame time is filthy.
It is.
When that boy get the...
It is. But then he just, I think he got swept by the Lakers the next round.
No, they won one.
They won one. You're right. It was the first game.
Yeah, they won game 1. And that's got everybody going crazy again.
And then it's like the same situation with this one. He's in a tough spot because he really planted his flag by saying, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm so loyal to Portland. So if that's the case, like this type of stuff's probably going to happen unless Portland becomes amazing at general managers. They made a nice move with Carmelo Anthony, but you got to bring in probably someone else.
Yeah, because Melo at this stage isn't going to get you over the hump. Melo is a awesome role player at this stage, though. He comes in and gives them buckets, and obviously, he plays his quality minutes. CJ McCollum is really good as well. Obviously, he doesn't have an all-star, but he's always on the cusp of being an all-star. But what he
needs like Kawhi.
But this is the thing. I was gonna say they remind me of Toronto. Think about Toronto when it was Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, right? Before Kawhi got there, they were always good. Now, sometimes obviously because they're in the East, they were able to get higher seeds, but we knew they weren't going to be able to make any significant noise once it came time to play in the postseason. And when I think of Portland, as good as they are at times, or as electric as Dame is, it just feels like they're always going to come up short versus a good team. And unfortunately, this is what we keep seeing. And I don't understand. I know he's so loyal to Portland, but I'm like, if you don't want to leave Portland, can you at least recruit? Like, I don't feel like he recruits the same way. Like, you think about when
throwback. He's a throwback.
He is.
You respect it.
I do, but I'm like,
the game's changed.
Listen, Giannis could be in a similar situation. If Giannis and them don't get it done this year, it's a similar case for him. Are you gonna die on that hill in Milwaukee, or are you gonna start recruiting, or are you gonna take your talents elsewhere? Like, it's hard, bro. It's hard to do it by yourself like that, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think in terms of LeBron's career was weird because he did win one in Cleveland. He got love there.
No, but he won it after. Remember, he didn't win it when
No,
he was
that's
first
my
there.
point. Like, I'm just trying to think of the person who has stayed in their original spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kawhi's a different story because the Spurs was just such a good team around him.
That's no
I guess
like,
Steph Curry, but like he only did one though. I'm not counting those KD ones. It's just
I'm with
you.
you.
But he did that. He did essentially what we're talking about with Lillard.
Yeah,
he recruited KD and he got his 3 chips.
Boston, they got together as well.
So actually, Steph Curry's the best example. Forget what I just said. He would be the way to do it because he won. He won with the team that was around him. But he's like, you know what? For this to be sustainable, let me get KD.
Now, granted, he did,
and it pissed a lot of people off. I mean, it wasn't the best look for KD at least. I think for Curry, you're like, dude. I mean, you're just keeping this window longer.
I was gonna say also this, in terms of why Steph's situation was a lot easier and it was more appealing for a guy like KD to go there. Remember, they had already won, was it 73 games? Even I'm talking before Durant, right? They were already a very talented team, had already been to 2 championships. Granted, they won 1, lost 1, but they had already been to 2 finals. Then you think about just high-end talent, right? Because you can make the case in terms of who you think is the better player between Dame and Steph. But when you talk about Clay versus CJ McCollum, that's a big difference as well. I feel like Clay is light years ahead of CJ in terms of his productivity from an offensive standpoint and as obviously as a defender too. So that's the
they
other.
They had Iguodala too. They had Draymond Green.
But what I'm saying is this though, right? When you talk about them being able to do it without having to go crazy recruiting, because remember, Steph wasn't the biggest person recruiting KD. It was more so Draymond. Remember, Draymond, as soon as they lost, Draymond's like, yo, I called him. I was in the parking lot. I called him up like, yo, we need to get this. And then from there, they all flew out to the Hamptons to recruit him and things like that. But Draymond was the one who started that, right? But if you're KD, it's appealing to go to Golden State where they've already been to 2 finals. It's appealing to go there where they already have this legitimate elite team, historically great team. Portland, their core isn't that. Their core isn't close to that. That's my thing. So I'm like, if you're Dame, you can't take that Steph Curry approach because your Batman, your Robin is nowhere near the Robin that he had. Your supporting cast is nowhere near the supporting cast that he had. So you're going to need to get somebody in there that can be that guy with you. Regardless of if you feel like it has to be a KD or not, you're going to need another legitimate guy because I just don't feel like he has enough around him compared to a guy like Steph, man.
Oh, no.
This reminds me more of Cleveland first go around with LeBron, where it's like, all right, LeBron, go out there and make it work with Delonte West. And you're like, Delonte West is good. He's cool, but he ain't Dwayne Wade. You know what I mean? So that's my thing with that, man.
KD going to Golden State, though, man. Bad look for KD, man. That was the one team you couldn't go to.
Because he just lost to him.
He lost to him. You were up 3-1. And this team just won 73 games. Yeah. And like you said, they already won a championship stuff. That's why it was a bad look. Mm-hmm. You get just from the optics of like, hey, I want to go and have fun, play basketball. Yeah. That's fine. But then if you're going to be talking later about like legacy, why are people ripping on my championships? Mm-hmm. Bro, that was the one team you couldn't go to. That was the one team that's a bad look.
That was you could have went anywhere else.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want. I don't care how you live your life. But if you're all about your basketball legacy and you care about that.
Now, see, this is my rebuttal to that, though. When you talk about your basketball legacy and how significant that is, I don't put all of KD's decision on KD. I put it on a lot of fans and media who constantly bring up rings. Whenever we're talking conversation of greatness, everybody feels like rings is the end all be all. So now what have you seen since then? Guys saying, okay, we're going to put ourselves in position to do whatever it takes to win a ring because statisticals don't matter anymore. You got to have a ring. So now, Katie, when we go down the list of hierarchy of great players 10 years, 20 years from now, no one's going to people bring it up for context, but as a whole, the large majority are only going to say he has championships and he has finals MVPs to go with those numbers. So he belongs here. And that's how people argue now. So I look at that as a product of that, man. It sucks, but that's what it is now because everybody's argument, everybody's rebuttal is always rings. You do it all the time with Ben. Think about how many times we talk football. Rings. Like, bruh, like it can't always be about that, but people always make it about that until we bring up, well, what about this guy with rings? It's like, well, no, rings don't matter then. But I feel like KD and Kawhi is another one. I feel like guys are Harden definitely feels that. Chris Paul, he feels it as well. In terms of that need of just, I got to get a ring somehow, some way, man.
But that's the one
That's what it
thing
is.
with
You just gotta get a
Harden, with
ring.
Kawhi, though. Kawhi going to Toronto, that was a trade, but him going to the Clippers, that wasn't a team before it. Like, he assembled that. And same with Harden. Him going to the Nets.
But does it matter how it got assembled when LeBron went to Miami? He assembled that as well, right?
I know, but here's my point. Here's my main thing. KD going to Golden State was like LeBron going from Cleveland to that Boston team.
Okay.
It's just a bad look. Yes. No matter what, it's a bad look.
Okay.
Because that was the one team you couldn't go to. That was the one team.
I could definitely agree with that. But I just feel like in the bigger picture, people are going to be more focused on, did he win the rings? Does he have the finals?
Sure, in 20 years, maybe it's a
that's
different
the part,
story,
right?
Especially if he wins one with the Nets. It's not that big of a deal. And like I said, I don't care. I really don't care. But it's just like, if you're going to be talking about legacy, there are people that are probably going to question that. You literally went to the team that was 73-9 and just beat you. You were up 3-1.
You were up 3-1.
There's one thing to be like, sports is a business. You got to look out for yourself, do what's best for you. But then there's also just, man, would you do that? You know what I mean?
It's bad, bro. It's bad.
It's fine. You do what you want, but I guess people are allowed to criticize you about it.
This is true. And I see color, and unfortunately, I don't want to read this color.
Okay.
Because it's from You Call Me K. And I know what you put in here, Call Me K. You're trying to stir this pot. It says, Moats, your Lakers are done. I'm sorry, man. I've been trying to hold off. I was about to go from Portland to talk about Brooklyn. I was going to try to talk about everybody but these Lakers. Oh, call me K, call me K, call me K. Oh, baby. Yeah, it's not looking good right now, man. But, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it.
You might as well talk about it.
I'm going to do it. All right. Okay, you want to talk Lakers? We're going to talk these Lakers, baby. I'm pissed. First of all, I'm pissed because I stayed up super late last night watching that. I was flipping back and forth between them and Portland. And I'm like, all right, I got to stay up. Now, granted, Portland started out, they were getting drilled by like 20 at first. Then they got it interesting in the second half. So I'm like, okay, good. I got something to tune into. The Lakers, though. I don't know. As soon as I saw AD not playing, I feel like we talked about, we said this earlier, right? With Leighton Vander Esch and James Conner. I said, I'm not available for that right now.
That's another reason.
Anthony Davis he's giving me that. Like, I need you out there. I don't need you hurt. And I'm not questioning if he's hurt or not, but it's just like you're getting hurt at the wrong time. You're hurt in the regular season. You saw when Brown was hurt. Brown took the regular season. He said, I'm going to chill this last month. I got you. AD was doing similar things. He came back at the end, get a couple of games, get his legs under him. But now I'm like, dude, you can't be out in this series. The whole reason why we feel the Lakers are a good team is because you got AD and you got LeBron. Those two guys out there, you're going to be good with anybody. Typically, that's how it's been with those guys. You look at the stats for the Lakers when those two guys are out there versus when one is missing or both are missing, drastically different. So for AD, the AD just, and maybe it's because the injury didn't look as crazy. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what happened?
Where did it happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when it happened or how it happened, but it just.
I thought it was the other leg, maybe.
Oh man. Oh. So I just feel some type of way about that. And seeing that game last night, my guys looked tired. Bron looked tired. Nobody else wanted to hit a shot. I mean, Bron still did. He do. You know, he gonna get his. But when I'm looking at these other guys, I'm like, bro, yo, hit a shot. You hit a shot. You hit a shot. He's passing you the ball. It's hitting you right in your hands. We're just missing. My best hope is we get it. We find a way to win at home. I don't know how. Bron gonna have to hit the cryo chamber, drink some wine, maybe use one of your backwoods, whatever he needs to do to get himself going. Because he's gonna have to be that guy.
You're thinking game six.
I don't believe AD's not going to be there. If AD's there, it's going to be James Conner Thursday night versus the Browns. He'll be out there at the beginning, and then ultimately he's going to re-injure it. Because watching him during his little shoot around, he couldn't even move. I'm like, dude, this doesn't make me feel like you're going to be able to come back next game. So I'm hoping Bron goes nuts game 6, like we know he's capable of doing, but it's going to take a lot out of him. AD has to be back for 7.
Oh. Oof.
That's the problem, because it's gonna take for Bron to do what he's gonna need to do against that Suns team, because the Suns are hot right now and they're playing well. You got Cameron Payne,
I do think there's more pressure on the Suns. Honestly,
no, for a fact it is. Obviously, with Bron and them, they won their championship last year. We know the injuries. They have the built-in excuse. The biggest thing is more so the whole how we say with Coach Tommy, he's never had a losing season. Bron's never been out in the first round. Now, you can still technically make a case since he already won his playing game. Technically, that was the first round of the play. Just if we're being technically, he did it. He's already won. He won his playing game.
Even all those Cleveland years, he always got
out.
Always
got out. Whereas the rebuttal has always been when people talk about him versus Jordan, they say Jordan's undefeated in the finals, but Jordan's record in the first round, far from undefeated. Whereas LeBron, that's, the rebuttal's like, well, shoot, you can't penalize a guy for getting to the championship when this guy isn't even making out the first round. That's been the little case. So that is potentially on the line. But outside of that, if you're Bron and the Lakers, y'all are really playing with house money because you already have that chip. You had to get the chip, and they did that. A lot of pressure on the Suns, though. But
yeah, CP3, like, this is probably going to be your best chance for it.
Yeah. Now, the West is still interesting, too.
Oh, yeah, this isn't a given that they make it.
Yeah, the
Clippers
West is
all of a
wide
sudden
open.
look amazing.
Yeah, and the Mavs and Luka, they look a little janky right now.
Oh, yeah,
man.
they're going to lose that series.
It's
just crazy how it flips like that.
That quick, bro. That quick. So, yeah,
because they were smoking them at the beginning of that third game. Then all of a sudden, Clippers flipped the switch, man.
Yep.
And, they look just god-awful in the game 4. Because I watched a lot of I think it was the last Lakers game. When was it, on Saturday or Sunday? I was just laying around. Might have been Monday, actually. Yeah. I was just laying around. No, it was Sunday. I was just laying around watching all the NBA games that day. It was the Nets, the Celtics, and I had the...
Because that was the game where Tatum went for the 50 for the Celtics, that game.
He had the 40. No. Yeah, I'm a game behind.
Oh, you're game. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that was the one where we were talking about earlier, where Durant had like 40, Kyrie had like 38, 39, Harden had the triple double.
We said Katie had the quietest 40 points ever.
Yeah.
They're
just so loaded. I mean, it's going to be way more because the Celtics are terrible right now. Yeah. They have literally no one on their team, so it'll be interesting if they. They'd be playing the Bucks next week.
That's I'm like, you're getting that in the second round. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, so the East is actually kind of interesting this season.
Yeah. Very interesting, man.
Yeah, but Mavericks, Clippers, I think Mavericks are done, man.
Nuggets in Portland is still, I feel like.
I don't think either one of those teams matter, though, when it's all said and done.
But see, this is my thing. I don't feel like there is a quote-unquote just clear-cut dominant team in the West like that. I feel like if Bron and AD are healthy, you can make a case for them. I feel like with the Clippers, you don't know what you're getting with them. I mean, we saw this last year as well with them.
I was going to say...
Like, seriously, we saw this exactly happen last year with them, man.
Might be Suns Clippers, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be the play for the next round.
Yeah, I don't know how the round... I'd have to look for the West. But, yeah, that's my thing. I'm just like... Yeah, I don't trust the Clippers, though, man. Maybe it's because I'm not a Patrick Beverly guy. Maybe that's why. But I don't trust him, man.
Kawhi in playoff P, though. They're going off,
is he playoff? He's back to playoff P now?
Well, I guess. I mean, he's been playing really good, man. He's been playing really good. Same with Kawhi.
He has.
We saw it last year. I mean, in that Maverick series last year, they were going completely off. Mm-hmm. And even at the beginning of that Denver series, they were doing really good. They were up 3-1, and then they just collapsed. Nuggets don't have Jamal Murray, though.
That's different right now.
And then Trailblazers, like we said, we just think they're limited. So that's
now,
what
I'm
about
thinking. The Jazz, though? What are your thoughts on the Jazz? Is it because it's Utah?
I think so. I don't know.
They're nice, though, bro.
I just don't know if I could ever believe in the Jazz.
They're nice, though. They got a squad. They got guys, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah. If the Lakers are out, I guess they have a chance.
They legit.
I think they have a chance then. Yeah.
And looking at some of the comments too, man. Just going back because I ain't want to forget all of y'all over here. First off, shout out to Jack Henderson. Jack, shout out because Jack said whoever disliked the video is a casual. So whichever casual disliked it, stop being a casual. But thanks for tuning in though. And now, so going back to a little bit, just bouncing around with these comments. A. Frel says, going back to that Portland comment about CJ McCollum, he's like, he's not a number 2 option. You can make the case for that. I feel like he is
if you just want to be in the mix.
Right. But yeah, he'll be a great number 3. Like I feel like with CJ, it's kind of like if you had a slot, think Juju. If you have Juju and you're trying to make him be your number 1 guy, put him on the outside, it's not going to be where he thrives at, right? He needs other pieces around him. Now, Juju with other pieces is going to be a monster. CJ with multiple pieces, he'll be a monster. I mean, because he's still a good player in his own right, but yeah, he's definitely a little limited right there. Whew. Emmanuel, he's talking about Denver because he's like, Denver is doing all this without Jamal Murray. And like I said, Denver is they're a legit team, man. And Coach Coward, thank you for saying this. I didn't want to say it, but he says AD folded in this series, man. I'm just saying. And then the Dippin' Dots 21 says he has the Nets beating the Bucks in 6 games next series.
Yeah, I think they're going to come out of the East.
That's gonna be
I
crazy.
agree. I agree. But
if Giannis loses in the second round, do you blow the team up if you're Milwaukee?
I mean, the perfect combination would have been Luka and Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis messed up by signing this long-term deal with the Bucks. He should be trying to go to Dallas this offseason, but too late now. Unless he tries to force a trade or something like that.
Yeah,
that would have been the perfect combo for the next however many years. But it's not happening.
Because right now, but they got is it Bledsoe?
Their team's pretty. I don't know though, man. This might be a different season for them.
PJ Tucker.
Holiday was a big upgrade for them. This might be a different season, so we'll see. You're right. It's gonna just come down to this series right here.
Hey, and Call Me K says that play-in games don't count as playoffs. Yes, they do, man. Yes, they do. You know why? Because when we beat the Warriors and then the Warriors lost again, the Warriors out. They couldn't go anymore. So yes, it does count as playoffs. So my man Bron he's already had his first round win. I'm claiming that victory until we get out of this other round. If we don't get out of this round, then I'm gonna claim that. I'm just throwing it out there. Just tell you now. Hopefully it doesn't come to that though.
There is an argument though that sometimes I think we put way too high expectations for the ascending superstar, because how often is it dude comes on strong in his second, third, fourth year, becomes like a top 5 player in the league. Then you give them an excuse for maybe their first or second season in the playoffs. Like, all right, yeah, no one was expecting you to win. But then after that, you don't win the chip. Like, something's wrong. You got to make a move. Something's got to happen. So, even if Giannis loses this time, does it all of a sudden mean in the next 3 or 4 years he's not a legitimate contender?
I don't think it means that, but I do think his approach would have to change drastically in terms of this. I'm not recruiting and I'm not leaving. Because he's been adamant about both of those things. You don't see him out here calling me, oh man, come join me, man. Come link up. Like, he's on this, I could do it myself. Now, you can, but you're going to have to develop a crazy shot. You're going to need more of that KD in your game. Right now, you're nasty in the paint. We know you're janky at the free throw line, and we're not worried about you shooting. All right?
Oh, speaking of free throw line, Luka's terrible. What happened?
Oh, my God.
He's so bad.
Dude, wow. How?
It's all of a sudden random.
Oh my!
I think wasn't he shooting 70%
yes,
or
dude.
something?
Oh my gosh!
He can't hit a free throw.
Oh my gosh! It's almost like he gets there and it's so easy that he's not even thinking about it. He just shoots it. And it's like, bruh.
I think at this point though, it's got to be in his head because he went 0 for it the one game. Yeah.
It's bad. Oh my goodness, it's bad.
Or at the beginning of the game, I don't know if he ended up making a free throw, but he missed this first 5 or 6. I'm like, what the hell?
Bad, bro. And your boy Manuel in here, before we get up out of here, he said that you are actually showing his son's love. He appreciates that. And he says that Devin Booker's displaying that Mamba mentality.
That's what I mean. They might, between them and the Clippers right now. Now, this is just hot take reaction. I'd say they're the top 2 teams in the West. If all of a sudden the Lakers win the series, they're going to be in the top 2.
If AD and LeBron could get healthy, then it's different. But I don't anticipate them getting healthy. Honestly, I don't want to say it, but I think the Suns do get it done. I do. I don't think that
no CP3 curse in this one.
Nah. But the problem is the CP3 curse. I think is more so because he hasn't been to a Western Conference Finals. That's
he's never been to the finals.
He's never been to the NBA Finals. He went to Wayne. Was that with
Rockets?
The year where he got hurt. That's right. Yeah, pulled the hammy. So, do you think he makes the finals this year? We'll debate that a little bit later, but. Either way, man, I need my man Brian get healthy. Come back. We'll run it back next year. I ain't tripping. But he'll get it done. He'll get it done. He'll get it done. I hope he does. I don't like this feeling, though. It's not a good feeling.
It'll be an interesting game either way. Yeah, does he pull out that Game 6 magic that he had? Remember the Heat Celtics?
Yes,
where it was
he went nuts. Nobody thought that they was going to get it done.
Oh, bro, it was bad.
He
at
went
that
out,
point, remember, he came off. This was coming off
of the Dallas.
Loss.
Yes, that was do or die for Bron. I remember
and then
that.
All of a sudden, they're down 3-2 to the Celtics. You're like,
I'm so glad you brought that up. So
This
check it out. I'm glad you brought that up. You remember when you talk about that? I forgot what game it was last year. He was like, "Yo, I had this feeling about Ben. I was just nervous. Oh my god, what's happening here?" Watching Bron going into that game, that's how I remember being so yo, is Bron not who I think he is? Is it really a cheek? I was so sick just thinking about that. And to see him perform the way he did, oh my, I could have cried that night. I was so dang happy.
They started to win Game 7 too.
Yo, yes. But it had me so I was like, yo, because like you said, you saw the finals win, and that I was like, oh.
And Celtics.
Yeah.
To LeBron at that point.
They were the kryptonite.
Yeah.
Oh man. So definitely glad about that. And before we get up out of here, Dippin' Dots is giving his finals preview. He says he has Nets versus Suns as well.
Okay.
That's what he says he has. Nets versus Suns. All right, interesting. But anywho, looks like it is that noon time. Man, shout out to the clock. Gosh, this was fun, man.
Oh, this was a blast.
This was fun. Our early morning venture, our wake and bake, for whatever that may mean. For the people out there that wake and bake in whatever fashion that they do so.
Some were saying rise and grind.
Yeah, rise and grind, whatever you need to do. But now it is the mid-morning hour. It is noon. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all for the day. This was fun.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Might have to do this again, man. And it looks like everybody was up too, man. Hey, I thought that it was going to be a little light. No. Y'all was heavy throughout the whole day, baby. So major kudos to y'all for that. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with the journey. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. We did. And until next time, baby.
Peace.